Now it is. Okay. 6:03, we have a quorum, full board. Good to see you all. Let's start first. Marcella, as you are here, we're gonna skip around and go to the balcony.
Yeah, 5-1.
5-1. So. We've been trying to get information and details on this. The latest information that we have, I need to pull that up.
From who?
The
Engineer,
Como lawyer.
I need information from lawyer. This is an ongoing issue that was already addressed by the previous board, that we had documented that before the board transition, that it was a non-issue and that the balcony needs to be repaired. And previously, an attorney from the association already said that the responsibility, because it's a limited common area, responsibility of the association.
Yes, and in that, part of the things that we understood, and also as we read through the engineer report, that there was Orlando.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the only issue with that is that it was maybe a bigger issue than just balcony for unit 10. So basically, bottom line is you got to get somebody to just do some maintenance on that balcony. That's it. You know, stabilize the railing and take care of any issues that are on that post pocket. That's it. It's pretty clear.
Straightforward.
So it's not entirely replacing the railing. It can be maybe secured. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the post pocket's a little bit loose. If you get some a concrete contractor to come in and just treat that post pocket where the railing fits into, that's all you got to do. But the question was that the only one, or was there something else? So that's why we were looking at the overall engineer reports as it related to the entire association, because then there's other issues about people that have put in balconies that are not conforming, and the insurance company also had some issues with the balcony. So it's a bigger issue if you want to make it, but in the case of unit 10, all she needs is somebody to go there and fix it. That's it.
Yeah, it's a liability issue that I brought to the association's attention 4 years ago. And it has not been fixed, and it's very annoying because I've been advised, like, don't go on the balcony. I've had people come.
It's
Like, I want to be able
it's
to
a very easy
access
thing.
property balcony, it's ridiculous, like, fix it.
And so
What
for
I
4
rec-
years, why
what I
hasn't,
recommend, Robert, if you can get Maria Cabada has extensive contacts in the restoration industry. She could refer
People
someone.
drag their feet during our heritage.
so why hasn't the prior boards?
They were waiting for the engineers to make a
1
determination.
second, Orlando.
City of. He would never do what we were supposed to do on our unit, like me doing things like putting things on separate issue. Point is that it was just antagonistic, and if there was something that was needed to be done on our unit, it wouldn't get done. Because he just didn't want it to be done. So it was always a struggle, even though other board members were like, there's this problem. So that's the point.
So the question that we had, and really as we had inherited this essentially, and there was an engineer that came and investigated it and said, and as I understand it, I'll just speak for myself. The association at some point in the past replaced not all of them, but X number of railings throughout the community.
Correct.
Yours was one of them. And in that, I don't know when that happened. I don't know,
Curious, not by the unit.
Correct. So then the engineer came prior board or two prior boards ago, I don't know when exactly, but they said there were tiles placed there and that created the issue at the bottom base.
That's not true.
And that's what the report says. I mean,
I understand, but I also understand that there's this history of this association trying to avoid liability or responsibility, so they find any which way. Insurance carries. This is just,
well, but you can understand the reason why.
when engineer, I have an engineer also my side and say something different. You know, we can do the battle of engineers if you like. I can do that with you, I can do the dance. Well, it's essentially, it's a balcony like you're supposed to.
We're not trying to play battle. And you can understand that as we are responsible
Right.
for the board. And me as your neighbor, I would say, yeah, let's fix it. One, two, three. Back.
Bylaw issue.
So back.
It's a limited common area, so legally you guys are responsible to fix it. The fact that you've waited 3 years is not our problem, but it needs to be done, and that's why I continue to come here and say, fix my balcony. But we're trying to not.
I understand your construction completely.
Guys, let me say, can I just say something? This is a very small repair.
Yes,
I would
it's a
do,
non-issue.
what I would do if you want to resolve this, call Maria Cavada. She's got extensive contacts in the concrete restoration industry. Her kids own a company. She knows other people, because the problem is that this issue is so small that in order to get a qualified person out there to do it, it's going to be a problem. So nobody's going to be interested in such a small job. So Maria, I'm sure, can help you get somebody. Just get somebody to come over there and fix it, and you'll be done with that. It's a very easy thing. Okay. Very
So
easy.
I say, if you guys are okay with it, let's put a dollar amount on the fix. Let's approve that fix.
And then put a dollar amount, well, like, you can't do that, you have to actually have someone come out and make
It's
an
gonna be peanuts,
estimation.
guys. It's gonna be peanuts. I'm telling you, it's peanuts. It's a minor thing. It's a minor.
What's peanuts?
Okay, peanuts is under $500.
The number doesn't matter, because the issue is that the liability lies with the association.
Yeah, but the issue is also that according to our lawyer, if the tiles were done by the unit owner and the tiles, water came in and caused corrosion. And if it caused, as a result of that, it caused corrosion in the connection, then the tile is the issue. And if that tile was not, the fix of the tile was not done with board approval, with board approval, then in that case, it's on you. If it's not, then please let me finish. But we heard it. So if it's not, then it's on us. Now, since Orlando is saying that this is a small peanuts issue, and Unit 10 is asking for this for over 3 years, even though we're just inheriting it, I say let's fix it if it's really an issue of up to $500. If you guys are okay with that.
And I think in that aspect, so yes, in principle, I think I'm fine with that. I would just want to understand, did you put the tiles in?
Did I put the tiles in? Yes, tiles were replaced.
Okay, and I think in terms of fixing it, would this be a recurring problem if the engineer said the tiles caused it in the first place?
The tile's not being put back around the post railing.
That
So
water was required.
they just have
Change
to
over
fix
time.
it.
So. But the point is that if you have a loose railing, like literally, the guy who came from the association property management company, he tightened the screws on each end, because those two were loose as well. So this is something that was altered, not the balcony structure, was altered by the association. We never touched that. Touched the balcony tiles, not the actual balcony rail. The rail is what's loose, and then the actual anchor is what's loose.
Yeah.
And that has nothing.
But if it's loose on the bottom, On the
Right,
bottom.
the post pocket where the railing, the post of the railing goes into is a little loose, little bit. So they just need to chip that out, put a new concrete there, and that's it. It's a very small repair. That's
Yeah.
no big deal.
What we try to avoid is that if we need to chip in the bottom, like you're saying, and it chips a little bit per tile, then unit 10 is gonna come across with it.
We already
Sign the waiver.
removed,
Says that I will not bather you guys for my tires.
we already removed the
Okay.
tile around the post railing.
Should say.
Did we,
Guys, we are also trying to avoid to work outside the process. That's what I would say. I'm sorry, but we contacted the lawyer gave us an answer. And so for anything that goes outside the process, I don't know, if it's a very small amount. I don't know.
I think because it's like,
Something if we do, of course, it's like, not the same, because I improved my property without in a limited common area and the association wiped their hands legally from them having to do anything. So,
What's like something was done without approval. And I think that's, yeah.
true, by addressing the sex of probably.
Everything that's ever been done on unit 10 has been done with approval.
So
Yeah.
there was an approval, so that was the key of the.
Okay,
So you already said, because the attorney said, if there is approval, then we are responsible. So is there any way to know if there is approval?
when
You
you
have
have
to.
to.
when did you do it?
You know what year it was, but you can ask Mark Anthony, he is aware of the issue and he already said that this is a liability, responsibility of the association. Because he looked through the files and he was able to tell that the alteration, which is the railing, which is what we're speaking about, and the anchor itself was altered by the association, and that's what needs to just be put in, and like Orlando was saying, it's a very nominal issue financially.
Child also.
Okay,
Sorry.
to get a couple of quotes, she,
Ask me for quotes for about.
You have a different for 365 minutes.
Wait,
first,
Thank you.
that's.
Here's what I recommend. Here's what I recommend. We find the evidence that it was approved. She gets a couple quotes and we circle back and make the decision at that point.
it's a, we don't want to be doing that.
No, we lost some of our time.
But the question mark I have is if it's been 4 years and it's been such a minor issue, why hasn't it ever been solved?
Because I was telling you, it was retaliatory type order where they don't want to.
Last year, earlier, it was not in the board, so.
That's why by the time it went to this board.
I approve the motion.
To fix the validity.
Go for. And to, okay, see, so
Okay,
I second the motion of Albert,
he seconds my motion.
which is the approval plus to budget.
Right, my sleep out more here. Yeah,
Well, you wanna repeat more?
Okay, so what we agreed on is we will look in the files, see if there's approval there. Any,
for that information,
no, but we,
the 9 weeks. So, do you
There's no
understand?
approval.
But maybe it's.
You're not gonna find the approval. You're not gonna find any approval.
It's weird, because he lived here and he was here, and I've been here since 94, so I know.
so
Robert, there's no approval in your files. You're not gonna find it. Because
there's no approval?
no, because this issue kept waiting for the engineer to inspect. So the engineer did the inspection, the inspection report came in, I sent it to you guys. They made all these other observations that have nothing to do with the actual issue, which is the post rating, the post is loose. Somebody just needs to come and dig that post out and put new concrete, take them 15 minutes, and you're done. And I think I think
Hold on,
that
let me just make a question. Why did we ask the engineer to come here to do a report?
because
And it cost us probably $2,000
because
if the cost is minus.
I'll
So
tell you
why
why.
are we
I'll tell
inflationary
you
costing
why.
what
I'll
point?
tell you why.
Sorry.
Because the balconies in general, are they're limited common areas, which are the responsibility of the association to maintain. And
Responsibility, that's
there was
why.
a lot
No,
of
it's the
problems.
responsibility of the previous board that called an engineer for making the report of $2,000. Sorry.
There, so there's already a problem. And then you guys think it's something that was already.
365 days of the previous board.
If it was already approved by the previous board, then would have.
It was
We
not
have no
approved
reason
by
to
the
go
previous
for
board.
the So,
It was
okay.
not
Can we move for
approved.
the next vote?
It was not approved by the previous board. It's never been approved. Never been approved.
Go ahead, Orlando.
Never been approved. It was never approved. There is no such, I
I'm just saying that
don't
never
have
been
any
approved.
recollection of the board having approved that repair. Because it was waiting for the engineer, because it was a larger problem. That was the thing was whether it was only that balcony or whether there were other balconies that had structural issues. And the structural issues in all of the balconies of the association, because they are an exterior issue, are the responsibility of the association. The only exception is the people that built these enclosures that created a different condition. That's the only exception. All the other
Okay, I think Mark is on the Zoom.
Yeah, it is.
Mark, if you are here, can you unmute yourself and can you discuss if you have given approval to the owner of Unit 10? I don't know if he's here. So then I go back to my recommendation. We will reach out to the prior.
Hello, this is Anna, Mark's wife.
He's not there?
around.
Oh, okay,
There's first
thank you, Anna.
that I have forwarded to Alfredo. So he has that, and Orlando also forwarded to the board, where he is explicitly stating that it was altered previously by the association, and therefore the association's responsibility.
Okay, so forward that to us, please.
Orlando already did a month ago.
We already have that.
So the motion is we look for the approval. You get a couple quotes. Well, if she's saying there's email correspondence saying there's approval.
There's an email from saying that it's that's what's in an email. That's the email,
Saying what?
that it's the association's responsibility. That is altered.
Even if it wasn't altered, guys.
Yeah, but again, first of all, the fact that Mark says it is not. Hold on. Secondly, we already established that the rating, yes, but you change the tile. Once you do an alteration, means in the balcony, you own it. That's the law. This is what I learned from her. According to the engineer, yeah. So we should not listen to the lawyer or the engineer.
Extra corner supports.
First of all, if you look at your bylaws, they and a lawyer will tell you that you are responsible, just like manager is, or balcony structures. That is a common area, okay? I know the law.
Do you want to read her the email from the lawyer?
Yeah, and if an owner modifies limited common area, then it's.
We didn't mod.
You might.
Here that happen. Their rails, but if a modification has been done, alteration that is done by the association, therefore that's not an alteration by the unit owner, it is by the association. Understand that, but structure, not two of the others.
The engineering does.
It doesn't, it's called.
Why don't you guys find out how much it costs to fix it, just fix it, because it's probably under $500.
Not listening to that, so I'm gonna take your solution totally.
Okay,
So.
You know, listen to, Randall said you're a property manager. Okay,
So,
And he said there was no approval.
he also said, let's just fix it because it's already.
somebody sent her to a December chair.
Yeah, so
Well, we're gonna look for the. We should do that. Something, but we can't do anything, we'll get your quotes, we'll find. Right?
Okay, we wanna get two quotes? Alright,
done.
done, so we're getting two quotes next and get to see the difference, you're welcome.
Do you need them?
Yes.
Okay, then you. Okay, thank you.
Very well. So this is the treasury report. Some of these points are repetitive. I'll try to go fast. So whenever we pay, and I'll have a recommendation for this today, Becker, this should be put in the 2023, the same thing in 911 restoration. I want to validate with Primex two things. I haven't seen the Emmanuel's Manoli's checks being deposited in Valley Bank. I wanna check if you found the two checks that our neighbors sent to you, one of them regarding the special assessment.
Yes, we have his checks. He knows
That was
that.
not my question. Are these checks going to be deposited in some point in time?
Yes, all the checks get deposited. We wait till we collect a certain amount of checks and then they get deposited. We don't deposit checks every single day. I have confirmed the checks are there and they are going to make a deposit this week into the Valley Bank account for the special assessment.
Okay, perfect. And also the $25, it's still not deposit, so
The
whenever you,
$25 will, yes, it will show on the account tomorrow, and that's another set of checks that is going to be deposited. But yes, it is going to register. You'll see it
Okay.
registered in the account tomorrow.
okay, perfect. Then the other point for Primex, they're still not the write-off the $200 petty cash. This is another topic like the one we had previously. I think for the last 3 years, we've been having a petty cash of $200. And I'm a little bit tired of talking about this. Are we gonna write off or not the $200?
Yes, that's going to be written off. Orlando.
When?
It's
Sorry.
happening tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow.
Happening tomorrow, okay.
Okay, I sent you.
So it's recorded on minutes happening to, the other thing is that as we already approved, the expenses presented by Alberto should be expensed. This is
Also gonna be
2020,
happening tomorrow.
perfect, thank you so much.
Why is that? Let me explain why that is. Today, we completed a worksheet, which you're welcome to send it to them, Tiffany, for them to look at. We prepared a worksheet that reconciles the audited financials to the building numbers as of December 31, 2022, and shows all the adjustments that will have to be made to the accounts to make sure that we balance to the same numbers as the auditors. Those adjustments have already been determined, so we did a comparison of his balance sheet to ours, and we prepared all the adjustments, and tomorrow we're gonna be actually posting them to your ledger. So after we finish that, we're gonna go ahead and do the $200 write-off, and we're gonna do the Alberto write-off. So those two things are gonna happen tomorrow.
And now a question, are we going to see which adjustments were made by Primex according to the audit of 2022?
So that worksheet was prepared today, and I gave authorization to Tiffany to mail it to you, if to email it to the entire board. She can go ahead and do that right now.
I'll send it to you right now.
But shouldn't these adjustments be approved by the board of directors?
Well, that's why we're sending them to you, but they can be changed at any time, so we're sending them what we're planning to do. If you have any objections to if you have any objections to your building accounts matching your audited financials, which I don't understand why you would, because you paid this man to do an audit for you, and that's what he told you the number should be. I don't understand why you would have any objections to the audited financials. But if there is
My
any
first objection, I haven't hired any entity to myself personally.
well, but there was an auditor that was hired and he gave you a
Yeah,
set of
and it
financials.
was not an audit, Orlando, it was a review, as you know.
I understand it was an audit.
No, it was not an audit. I
So
couldn't Romano mentioned, it's not an
You
audit.
hired
It's
an
a review.
external accountant to fix your records, and you're asking us to go ahead and make sure that our records match those external accountant reports. That's exactly what we're doing. We're not just making up the numbers. We're trying to match our numbers to what he said your number should be. And that the worksheet on that, Tiffany has it, and she was gonna mail it to you right now.
Perfect.
And that's to close out 2022.
That is to close out 2022, which will automatically fix 2023. And as soon as we post that, then 2023, as soon as we do the adjustment for the $200 petty cash and the Alberto numbers, it will be ready for them to begin the 2023 external work. Okay?
Okay, so today, as I mentioned in the email, I was expecting Bank United's statements, the original ones and not the scans, to be delivered by Tiffany. When are we going to receive the Bank United statements?
So Sylvia has not produced them to me. She is asking for actually other documents that it's the board is owner of these documents. I don't think you're going to want to supply them to her. What I would suggest is we need to go to Bank United, whoever was the signer, who were the signers on the account, to retrieve the original documents, because if we can't physically get them from her, which I had requested her to either drop them off at my office or bring them to the meeting today.
One question, which statements are we talking about? Because basically Primex should have all the statements going back to whenever.
Orlando, let's forget it, because we've been asking these reports
hold
from
on,
Bank United for a long
hold on,
time.
because why aren't they're not in Bildium?
They are in Bildium.
They are not in Bildium. And Tiffany, the last time that we talked about these, you mentioned clearly that a lot of reports from 2022 were not in Bildium, and we are requesting as board of directors of Leeward Point all the originals of these reports. These are not individual reports. These are reports from Leeward Point.
So if you look in Bildium, the reconciliations along with the bank statements for 2022 are there. There are maybe 5-6 statements that are not there. Sylvia has these statements. I have requested for her to bring them to me in person to my office or to bring them to the meeting today. You're not missing.
One question, Tiffany, are those accounts reconciled?
Those accounts are the amount of that account never changed. It was the same amount.
Okay, so I'm asking you the question. What I'm asking you is, did we prepare a reconciliation for any of
Yes.
them?
We're not
Yes,
assigned.
those accounts are reconciled.
How do we reconcile without a bank statement?
It's just the bank statement that's not attached to the
Right,
reconciliation.
but how could we have reconciled without a bank statement? That doesn't make sense.
There was a bank statement at some point because those accounts were reconciled. The actual bank statement was not attached to the
I would like to discuss that with Sherry tomorrow, because it doesn't make any sense. We would have reconciled the account without a bank statement.
And Alberto, discuss also the other Bank United statements, because besides this account, we had reserves in Bank United, and I can't find in Bildium any of these Bank United statements. And I think Bildium on 2021 should have these Bank United statements.
Now, can we really ask Sylvia to bring it or fine or something like that?
Right, I was just gonna ask that. Tiffany, did she say she is not going to provide it to you?
And it's not only this.
I can tell you exactly what she said. She said that in capital letters, that account is closed, ! And then I said I understood, and that the board needs them for their records and to upload them in Bildium. And she never replied anything. She was asking.
Tiffany, we are not signers on those accounts, and we are not able to get anything from a bank in which we were not signers. So someone that was a signer on that account when the account closed will be the person that would have to request that information. We will not be able to get it. We won't get it. The bank's not going to get it.
Can we do something about Sylvia? Can we force her to bring it?
The question of Alan is can we force Sylvia and the other members of the board to provide all the bank statements? Because right now there's only one account related with the United, and there are more accounts in United, which you can find it in Bildium, but then there's no statements associated. And by the way, why are we asking this? Because 2022 is still open, and we need to see the bank statements that were still alive in 2022 that relates to Bank United.
I cannot understand under what conditions Sherry could have prepared a bank reconciliation without a statement. So I need to speak to her about that tomorrow morning. I'm just becoming.
I can ask Roberts. Do you understand? Nobody here also understands, Albert. Orlando.
I'm just learning about this right this moment.
Okay.
I'm asking the board for until tomorrow morning for me to discuss that with them.
Okay.
By the way, Orlando We asked the last meeting not to have Sherry involved in our account any longer.
But she was the.
I know, but she's the one that did this back then, so, or someone else in my company, so I gotta find out how is it that our company could do bank reconciliation without a bank statement, that's impossible, can't do it. So,
Okay, but going forward, she's not involved in our account any longer,
that's
correct?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, now the next topic is very serious. So when Tiffany shared invoices, a ton of them regarding to Absolute Pro, there are two invoices. One talks about unpermitted back patio additions, units 2753 in the value of $5,000. Another one talks about unpermitted back patio additions, unit 16503, 2,500. When we arrived to the board, there was a debt from units 2753 of $5,000, and we asked why. And it was told that the board has paid for the enclosure. And then we said, okay, so let's talk with the owner. The owner also proved that he paid, but when we look at the reconciliation in building, it looks like we double paid. So the owner paid and the association paid. And by the way, Orlando, when you said that we didn't pay, we in fact paid, or at least it said in your report on building. So what happened with this $5,000 of the patio additions 2753 and the patio additions 16503?
Okay, am I having information on that?
My
Which-
recollection on that is that at the time that was paid, the owners had not resolved the problem. So the board
Sorry?
of directors, can I finish, please? So the board of directors authorized, because we don't pay anything, we don't have signature on the account. So the prior board authorized payment in order to be able to proceed with the work because the owners were not taking care of it. This was also handled, I believe, through the attorneys. The attorneys sent them letters, and they authorized payment to the contractor, and with the plan to get it back from the owners later. If the owners also paid it, that's something that needs to be resolved. But at the time that it happened because the owners had not replied to the contractor.
And Orlando, I will remind you that the last time we talked about this $5,000, because this $5,000 was part of our balance sheet in terms of our assets, you said that was a mistake and you took out the
It
$5,000
was not a
from
mistake.
our assets.
No, it was not a
No,
mistake.
you said
No,
that.
it was not. I know you keep quoting me, and I never said that. I never said anything about a
Let's
mistake.
go to the
What I
recording.
said was that the board authorized the payment, and this is a board decision. We're just following, we're the accountants. We didn't make these decisions. The board decided to go ahead and pay the contractor in order to keep the project moving, because these people had not responded. They had
Why
not,
did you take the $5,000 out of the balance sheet?
because the guy paid it supposedly, because it was wrong to charge him because he
You already said that now that we know that he paid, that we need to understand with the owner. So your story doesn't match. I'm sorry.
Well,
And I think
I'm sorry too. You keep implying that we're liars and we're cheaters.
No, I'm
and
just,
I'm really getting pissed off
I'm
about
not
that.
saying
You know
anything.
something?
You can say whatever
let
you
me tell you
want,
something.
Orlando.
You're
What I'm
always
saying is
accusing people
positive
of
question.
bullshit, because we are honest people and we do what we're
Yes.
told. Okay, and you're
Yes, you can
implying
say
that we're
whatever. I'm
lying
just
and
questioning
this
you.
and that we're lying. We're not
Yes,
lying.
and you have to
We're
respect
not
this
lying.
meeting.
We are not
You
lying.
have to respect this meeting.
Stop
Orlando.
accusing us of lying.
You have to respect this
Stop
meeting.
it. Stop
I'm just
it.
making you
Stop it,
questions.
because
And the
we're not
next
lying
time,
anything. We're doing
yes,
what
whatever
we
you
were
want,
told.
so.
We did what we were told. We did it, and we did it. That's it. Okay?
Very well.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
well.
Always do
Orlando,
the same
Orlando.
shit.
Can I?
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Because as I understood it, and what you said, the prior board said approve to pay the roofer from the association's account $5,000.
And they told us to put it on his man's ledger because we paid.
Yes.
Right.
Then hold on. And then when we looked at the owner's accounts, we did not see the balance of that $5,000.
We saw it in the
Because
beginning.
later on, later on, it came to pass that we learned that apparently the owner did pay the contractor. So we stopped going after the owner for that money because they paid for it.
Okay, then the second question is, in the invoice from Absolute Pro, there's an invoice for that 5,000. So did the association pay $5,000?
It's possible because at the time that the board decided to pay him, it was necessary in order to keep the project going. If later the guy paid for it, this is not a lie. This is not deception. This is just something that happened. They paid, the guy ended up paying later. Okay, so now we overpaid him. Okay, so you owe him other monies. I don't know. We have to adjust for that. But nobody's lying here, Robert. And I really
No,
resent all these
I'm
implications
trying
about
to get to the
lying
point.
and all this bullshit from him. Okay, I
I'm
really
just trying to figure out,
very
did
upsetting.
McDonald
I'm
say,
very upset.
This is like a respect for a member of the board of
Hey,
directors.
you
of
better
Leeward
have
Point,
respect
and you
for
just
us
stop
because
it,
you're always
okay?
accusing us of
So
lying.
you have to
need
leave.
stop that.
I
You
didn't
need
say,
to stop your
I didn't say
lying.
one
okay?
word of
Stop
lying. I was just
accusing
making
people.
questions. So
Stop
you don't
accusing people.
respect. How do we take him out of the meeting?
Is completely above board.
Okay.
You have not proved any lies from us. Not one. Not one.
Hold on, Orlando,
Yeah.
please.
It's okay.
Hold on a
Very
second.
He
upsetting.
cannot
Very
disrespect the
upsetting.
member.
This is-
Very upsetting.
Period. He cannot disrespect the member
Very
of the
upset.
board.
Disrespect or
Period.
nothing. Stop accusing us of lying and then if you want respect, you better respect us.
Angela.
You want respect, respect us.
Angela was like a unit, of course, was approached by Marco Antonio and the
Always
contractor
with
to
the same
her house and
insinuations
order
of
her out
lying
to
and everything.
basically pressure that she needs to
Bullshit.
actually, pay directly to the contract. That was a mutual agreement between the contractor and each unit owner to pay the money. So Angela did so as did here, and I don't know what is the condition with a Conejo, which is something very interesting to discuss because there's something going on before or prior to that. So the only one missing was Esther and of course myself, which I already understood the letter that the lawyer passed me, and I say, I'm not going under any circumstances going to make any business with this contractor. So I was the only one out of the question. But they collect the money individually and the payment was directly transferred to their account to sell it. And that was the collection of each unit owner enclosure. The association have no point and have no right to use the funds to actually keep the project going for the sake of something, because that letter was already being crafted by the lawyer, and it was a procedure that it was already informed to all the unit owners. It was your decision whether if you want to accept or not. So that, I don't know what to call this narrative is completely out of nonsense. Okay.
yeah, and that goes back to the point that.
And this is also proof and put the previous board thought that they were actually doing things in the term in the sake of moving things forward, and God knows what's going to happen, and pay here and pay there and pay to your body, and that's exactly what we need to spot and tell everybody, the whole community, what's going on, the real story. And thank you, Joao, for being on top of that.
Okay, I have.
Can I on this point? So, regarding Angela, she sent me the proof of payment. Okay. Unit 19 never paid anything, so 2,500, it's not from her. She never paid anything. Conejos is supposed to get back to me with the proof of payment. She said she was long time ago, back in September or something. And yeah, and now, question, because maybe this would, I'm trying to understand what's going on here. So, regarding the corner unit, the enclosure, is it possible that the prior board paid AP and then that unit owner was supposed to pay the association? Is that,
No.
and then I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question because
Yes, I will repeat the story very carefully, and I want to make it just that. We have $5,000 in the balance sheet from that unit. And so we started to question where this $5,000 were coming from. And we were told that the association paid by this unit owner, and we were waiting on this unit owner to repay. And they asked
to pay us.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
At a certain point, this money was taken out of the balance sheet, and what we got from this unit was another payment to Absolute Pro. So right now, we have a transfer to Absolute Pro from ourselves, and we have another transfer from this unit owner to Absolute Pro. So we paid 5,000, and this unit owner paid another 5,000. And there's nothing in the balance sheet right now in terms of.
Okay, so if that's the case, and I'm not trying, and I'm not trying to here to defend anybody, okay? But if that's the case, it sounds to me like the unit owner made a mistake or whatever, instead of paying us, he paid again to the contractor.
Yeah, but the point here is that, sorry, it was already a past work. There was a letter sent by the lawyer a month ago before we started on the construction, so all the alignments were already sent on the letter, so there's no pay ahead of time in order for us to continue with the progress. This is something that is clear. I can show you all.
I have the letter because I have an included.
You have the letter, so then this.
Everything you just said.
It doesn't make any sense.
Everything you just said makes no sense.
In the previous meeting, what I mentioned is, and I mentioned continually here, it is not possible.
When I mentioned in terms of the laws of accounting, that you could not take $5,000 if there was nothing on the other side. So what I'm saying here is very objective.
I'm not arguing that point.
That's it.
I'm not arguing the point of what was allocated to what came in or what came out.
$5,000 shouldn't be approached by the condominium association, because we have a letter. We drafted from the law, and this is what it makes sense.
The letter has no.
Because you're trying to reverse everything and put everything in a position that nobody understands. It was clear. The letter was drafted by the lawyer. And the money.
If you scream louder, it's not gonna help the cause.
Orlando is telling you that the association is giving money to actually continue with the law, and that is not exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Can you speak louder?
I hope I make it clear. Sorry.
Then
when we're talking about the arrears, so we sent letters for pre-delinquent accounts, and I want to hear from Tiffany.
what is the status of these letters? Did they proceed?
Any point, you or somebody?
The letters that were approved went out to the 3 unit owners. And then the only ones that were pending were the small adjustments from the people who just owed a small amount. But the ones that owed the larger amount, those went out to them. And they were payments that were made from those unit owners, not in full, but there were payments that were made.
Okay, and do you know? Okay, so if you can send me the payments that were made, just to understand where we are at arrears, because we are getting close to the 10th of March, will be great.
Yes, because
Okay.
on the 10th, or actually on the 11th is when the late fees will be applied to their accounts.
And the other thing is regarding the status of Unit 2. Today, we have received from our attorney an email that was received by Orlando on the 28th of February from Becker Firm, trying to explain the last statement. We never received this email. It will be great to understand now from this email that was sent to Orlando on February 28th, understanding the entries for Unit 2 from the moment that Becker started to collect and what is the balance of Unit 2. Though I know the sale was already done, but it's important to understand where we are in regards to Unit 2.
May I recap?
Excuse me?
If I may, I will recap. The letter from Becker says that there was $8,000 payments made by him to us, not to them. And we were able to verify that in fact, Michael had made $8,000, $8,400 something payable to us. And then they also sent two checks, one for 1,000 and one for 700. If you add all that up, that is exactly what he owed based on the payoff that they gave him. That did not, it included some of $581 in legal fees and interest and mailing charges, but it did not include all the late fees incorrectly that we had posted based on the prior board's instructions. So we gave an estoppel letter a few days ago that said that he basically owed $300 plus a special assessment. And we sent that estoppel letter to the closing agent. And but we were able to confirm that Becker's letter was correct and that they did not take any of their fees, including the fees for doing that collection work from any of that money, because they sent us, we had gotten the bulk of the money directly from the owner to the association's account, and the $1,700 is the only thing that we received from Becker intact. They didn't take any money out of it. So all that is correct. And his ledger has been modified to agree to the estoppel letter that was sent out. There was a partial late fee that he had already paid included in that balance. So we didn't have, we were not able to delete one of the late fees, but the majority of late fees were deleted.
Okay,
So-
thank you. But let me just two questions, and thank you for the explanation. One is very hard on the side of the association board to understand when the deposits are done. So is it possible for us? Because that was my main question about the statement of Becker, is that when a lawyer is collecting, it looks like they will collect everything, and now you're saying that was a payment done to the HOA.
If you
Is
look
it
at the letter,
possible
the
to know exactly-
$8,400, if you look at that letter,
Yes.
the $8,400 that they mentioned in that letter, we were able to prove, we have an Excel worksheet that shows that those payments, that he made several payments added up to exactly to the number that's on that letter. So that money came to us.
And can we reconcile this with the bank? Can we see it in the
Yes,
bank, not
yes,
only the Excel?
absolutely. Yes,
Can you send
absolutely.
us this?
Yes, we did.
Perfect.
I sent that to Tiffany today. She has it. She can send it to you.
Perfect.
send it
And the
to you right
second, thank you. And the second question has to do with the final delta, because what we're seeing in the arrears for unit 2 was much bigger than $300. So can we also
It was
see?
that plus a special assessment. So 11,000, it was $300 plus a special. If you look at this, if you look at his
Okay.
ledger now, you're going to see that prior to the closing, he went into the closing at the end of February with only $300 owed. And then plus the special assessment plus the March fee, then that's what he would owe. But as of the end of February, he only owed $300, $315.
And the special assessment would be still the electric panel special assessment?
He would
No.
have, that's probably gonna be taken from this closing.
Okay.
And has it officially closed?
I haven't seen the check yet.
Okay, so, and that was gonna be my question. If it has already closed, we should already have the wire or check or something, right?
Yes,
And in this case, we also should have a percentage of the lien that is put over the association, correct? Because what our attorney said is that for people to sell their house accordingly to the Florida law, they can pay the percentage of the lien to release themselves from the lien. So they would have to pay that part. Is that correct?
the lien for the construction,
Yes, we got a lien from Trussart, Dallas,
they
whatever.
have not, the closing agent has not contacted us about that lien.
Okay. Okay. Very well. So Tiffany, whenever possible, please send us these to the board.
I'm sending it to you right now.
Final. Okay,
You should
final.
be able to send it immediately, Tiffany, because you got it this morning.
I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
Leeward Point budget communication and meeting scheduling. I'm okay with the elements that Tiffany sent. Are you guys okay? We need to have a meeting for budget this year. We're gonna do it. So did you see the documents that she sent? No.
Yeah, so we need to send out a notice to the community with the 14-day notice.
That's correct. So
Yes.
on the notice that I sent you, it has the scheduled budget meeting for March 22nd, which is a Friday at 6 o'clock.
Right, it's club. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
I-
can change it. You can change it if you'd like, but that's the 14 days. If we mail it tomorrow, that's the 14 days.
And Tiffany, does it have to be a specific meeting only for the budget, or it can be included in a normal meeting?
No, it has to be a specific budget meeting, which your docs say that, and that is required by Florida statute. You have to have a budget meeting to speak about
But
your
if we
budget.
do 5:30 to 6,
But
3:30 to 6.
that could be
5:30 to 6? Can we do it 5:30 to 6 on that Friday?
Whatever time you want, we just have to, I will
5:30 to
just
6.
alter the notice.
Okay, 5:30 to 6, and this give us time
Not
to
on a
get,
Wednesday,
on Wednesday, the next one?
yeah.
Okay, so 5:30 to 6 on
Are you
the next
You
comfortable
have to
with
send
that?
out a 14-day notice. It has to
Right.
be the copy,
So
a
the
copy
next
of the,
Wednesday,
a copy
Yeah.
of the proposed
yeah,
budget.
the next Wednesday after that Friday.
After the 22nd, yeah, so it would be the
Yes.
last week, the last
In lieu
Wednesday of
That
March.
could work.
27.
In lieu of a normal meeting, just do the budget meeting?
No, they say that it's a special meeting only for the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so Tiffany, what we are saying is that let's put these in the beginning of a meeting. And then we do a meeting for these, then we close the meeting and then we start our normal meeting.
That's fine, you can do that.
Okay, okay, perfect. So we can send now the notification when we are gonna have, we have a meeting
2
in.
weeks from,
But does it have to be 14 days exactly, or it can be 17 days?
it can be.
No, as
one.
long,
We
it
can
it
do
can be, it
14.
has to be 14 days. It can be more than 14 days. It cannot be less than
okay.
14 days.
So we can set it for from now to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay, can be Tiffany for now for 3 weeks, which gonna be the 27.
The
Guys,
20
I want to make sure that we understand something, that we clarify something. What Tiffany's trying to tell you is that if you're going to pass a budget, you'll have to have a board meeting in which that budget, which has to be on the agenda, that budget needs to be mailed out 14 days prior to all the owners. That's really the only requirement. You don't have to close the budget meeting and start another meeting. You can have a budget decision inside a normal board meeting. The only condition is that the budget needs to be mailed out 14 days prior. Okay,
with the notice that we'll be discussing it on that certain day.
that's correct.
So we discuss it on the 27th?
Yeah.
27. So in the meeting of 27, we're gonna discuss it and close it.
I won't be here.
Now, additional checks, we, like always, Carlos Eber, Alfredo on the maintenance, the Surf Pro. Now, these free checks are going to the flooding associated expenses. So Tiffany, Surf Pro, the 4,400, you're gonna see in the report, Diana Cardenas, fence reparation reimbursement, and Natalie Silva, fence reparation reimbursement, both 450. This goes for that account called something related with floodings, because this is the account we are then to get reimbursement for insurance from whoever, okay?
Gentlemen,
Yes.
I wanna just interrupt for a second. I have 5 minutes left. I just wanna make sure that I answer the things that have to do with me here, just really quickly. The Unit 11 insurance claim, I mailed you guys the denial letter about a few days ago. It was mailed around the beginning of the month, of last month, because they basically, the insurance company denied Unit 11's claim on the grounds of normal wear and tear. There was no casualty or a storm or anything like that related to that flood. So because they considered it normal wear and tear, they denied it. You guys have a copy of the denial letter. I sent it to you before. And also on the reconciliation of the special assessment, I just want to say, and Tiffany should have sent you that document today. All the owners have paid the electrical panel assessment. Everybody's paid up. It was $100,000. We only spent $88,000. So there is a $11,600 and change surplus from that assessment. So
Which I did send that. I did send that to you, to all of the board members. They
Okay,
should
so
have.
that's really all I had left to say. If you guys have any
Just
other
a question on that. So these 11,000 are just an accounting adjustment or they are
No,
meaning
you
real
collected
money?
$100,000, and according to the accounting, you only spent 88 for that, for the
Yes.
related expenses. So you basically collected $11,000 more than what you spent for that special assessment. And I send you the
Where's that money?
reports. I send you the reports, and Tiffany should have forwarded them to you.
I did.
The reports that show what's in that 88,000. Okay, so if you know something that should have been or should not have been in there, or should have been in there that wasn't in there, you need to look at that now and make that determination, because according to our accounting, based on what was considered to be items related to the electrical panels, you only spent $88,000 and it was across 2 different years. Some of it was spent in 2022, some of it was spent in 2023. but in total, it was 88,000. And you have the report there.
Where's the money? Is it just account?
That was my question, because previously, Orlando, what I saw in that account, and I already mentioned this in the meeting we have there in Primex, I saw a lot of numbers within that account that amounted to 11,000, and I said clearly, some of the maintenance fees were inside of that. If we are taking out the maintenance fees out of the special assessment into maintenance fees, so what does it mean in the 11,000?
You're conflating two different things. We billed the owners $100,000 for the special assessment, and everyone paid that, and it has absolutely nothing to do with receivables. I'm just talking about you guys bill the owners 100,000, everybody paid the 100,000. Done. Okay, you put the money in the account and you paid out to the electrical company, Mega Electric, blah blah blah, the permit, this and that. You paid them $88,000. So you have an $11,000 surplus. Theoretical, let's say, between what was collected and what was paid. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And the reports that prove that are in your email.
The money is not real, Alan, to answer your question, because nothing entered in Valley Bank. This is just, and I can't understand. So, okay, to discuss and decide on February 27 BOD meeting, I will propose to pay to Becker. They already gave their explanation. Now it's our side of the equation to understand the money that we received through the HOA. I believe Tiffany will gonna send us this. So we have a past due of 5,175 that needs to be reported on 2023, and then 555.13 for 2024. And now we have the 450 to get the records. So I do a motion to pay these Becker's invoices.
But one more thing, in our review today, when we're looking at these bills, we noted that the $581 that was charged as a for the collection matter for the unit 2 is not listed as one of the invoices open on your statement. And we don't know why that is, and Tiffany's going to look into it.
Okay, so and that would be my other question, because there's a 62.5 also.
Right. That was a subsequent charge because the letter that came from Becker was in October, and that invoice was now recent. It was like January or February of 2024. So that seems to be an additional charge relating to that matter that was not included in that letter from October.
Okay, so can we ask for Becker to clarify, or Tiffany to clarify with Becker and get the last invoice? I believe then we only have to pay the 5,175 plus the 450, but please, if we have a clarification.
The 581 that's on that letter that relates to their work on the collection matter was never paid or collected or applied by them to any funds that they had. So we were able to determine that Becker never applied any other fees to any of the money that they had. And in fact, the only money that they had was the $1,700 that they sent to us intact.
Yeah, but this is now the Becker invoice they sent to us regarding their time on 2023 and 2024. So this is not the same $500. This is $500.
That $500 is not listed in those. The invoice for the collection matter for unit 2, that invoice is not part of the charges that you are being asked to pay right now. So I asked Tiffany to find out why that's not why that isn't included, because they did show it on the letter, but if you look at your statement, none of those none of the invoices on that statement have anything to do with the collection matter on unit 2. It seems to be like it's another invoice somewhere, or they either didn't bill it, they forgot to bill it, or it's just not there, or maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe they have it as a different matter, and therefore because normally that's paid by remember that legal fees on collection are usually paid by the debtor, by the company. So what they're saying is I think they made a mistake. If you look at the letter, they're attributing all the monies. Normally they take that from the monies collected, and in this case they didn't. Maybe that's why they didn't charge you extra for it, because they're assuming that they collected it from the money, but they didn't. They sent us the money intact. The $1,700 they received was to our name, not to their name. So they did not deposit that in escrow. They did not take their money. So maybe I don't know, if you want to be quiet about that, that's fine with us. But
nobody wants to be quiet. ask Tiffany to clarify it. Sorry, please. And we want to pay as soon as possible, but at least an
But it looks
invoice.
to me like it was a mistake, because normally they would have taken that money from the collected funds, and they didn't keep
And
any.
from my understanding on the statement of unit 2, it was collected there, but please ask Tiffany to clarify and then we
It
will
was
pay the
definitely
remaining
collected,
part.
no, it was definitely collected from the owner. But
Yes.
we never paid it, because they normally would have taken that from the money collected, but they didn't take any of the money in their own escrow account. So they didn't have any money to collect it from in their custody. They never had our money. The 8,400 came into our account and the $1,700 came straight to us. So they never had any money to collect it from. Okay,
Okay.
so it would
Please
seem
ask
like we would
Tiffany
owe
to
them that money.
clarify this, please.
I will clarify
Okay,
it.
and the other thing is the 62.5, and when we have this clarification, we'll do a motion to pay. ACG Engineering, we have 2 invoices.
Guys, I need
outrageous.
to take off, so if you need something, call me back. If you call me on the phone.
Perfect, thank you.
Good night,
So we
guys.
have 2 invoices, one from January, another one from February, almost $5,000 each. And I want to discuss these with the board. I think it's absolutely outrageous, these values they are charging.
I didn't look at the invoices in detail.
I look, first of all, we asked the ACG Engineering to tell us whenever they were coming here to inform us by writing and even by voice. They never inform us of anything, and there's a ton of visits, a ton of work, et cetera, that amounts to these values. And so I do a recommendation. One is to freeze immediately the work of the engineer, so we don't pay anything else. And even these, I think we need to have a big discussion with this ACG Engineering. It's absolutely outrageous that we're gonna pay. almost
But it's, I mean, I don't know much about engineering.
I think that,
That's no, I didn't read the details in there.
okay, I'll just say outrageous that 100%. Yes.
We're doing this anyway without letting us know.
Yes.
So if you want to do one motion at a time, the motion to freeze them, and not allow them on the property anymore until we can get it clarified, I think makes sense to me. Yes. Does that make sense? I mean, if that's what you would want, I agree.
I think we need to fight back on these because it is outrageous now.
Period.
Then I don't even wanna
Yeah,
justify
no,
it, it's.
I don't know how to get the roof is buried in, so I don't know if all the questions. But I'll second, go ahead.
You know, and I agree with you on that, let's freeze for now.
No, it's not freeze. I think we need to discuss with the company. Do you turn on your or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm right here.
For now, I do this motion.
Second.
Yes.
Okay?
And I think our conversation can be directly with ACG, in terms of the last 2 months. They actually sent 3 invoices, right?
One of them is already
And
paid.
one of them is already
Well,
paid,
we
but
need to
they're,
ask Tiffany what is happening with them.
Yeah, because in 2 of the times that she came, I saw her, I spoke with her. And I don't know what other time to get her, and she said one more time, then I will be there.
So for for going to $5,000.
Yes.
It's much more sensitive.
And
When you have,
what is,
it's this, everything is discriminating in terms of visits, not in terms of what was the visit for. I think we need to have a very serious conversation with these.
Tenable as lawyers, they
Yes.
still charge.
Yes, and the second is to have this conversation, probably with a prior 5 minutes with Avi, just to understand how aggressive we can be in this conversation.
yeah, and I think, and I'm fine with that. He'll probably say you can be as aggressive as you want. And
then we don't.
but, in that aspect, I think if we have a conversation with him, it would be more strategic. How can we position our arguments?
In our argument is to say, look, we are gonna give a news today, yes, and this news is also applicable to our engineer, and so we might have a litigation against also the engineer.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so that is the strategy here to say, do you want to go into litigation? We had 10 episodes of flooding or something like that. So let's have a discussion.
I think that first we need to understand the contract. If in the contract, part of their job description was to secure.
Or to help secure the roofs.
Can you, okay, so
When I'm
It all starts with basic.
not gonna. Because.
we mentioned to ACG Engineering for control of costs, and by the way, it was also in the minutes of one of our meetings. We said it in words, we said it by writing, to tell us about any type of visit that would be done to the premises to understand it, to control costs.
Mhm.
This is not, once again, honest business practice, but you can consider whatever. I don't consider this an honest business practice, but
By the way, tomorrow we're gonna receive another notice of all by the Dallas Cross. So be ready. Tomorrow they're going to deliver that to my house because it was certified there.
okay, but let's keep one topic at a time. Sorry.
She's executive,
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're gonna have this discussion with them, ACG engineer?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. Now, status of 911 restoration, they said they're going to.
they haven't got back to me,
They haven't got back, okay, perfect.
but I requested essentially a $7,500 discount.
Perfect, thank you. And by the way, the thing, just for everybody to know, is we pay immediately. If they give us an immediate discount, we pay immediately. If not, we probably need to figure out how many months we're gonna take to pay all of this money. 49,200.5.
That's from only Central or.
Oh, no, this is
Only
911 restoration to the big one. They covered like 14.
The Central, how much is gonna be the whole program?
The last one we don't have. We already paid 4,400 for the last intervention in unit 15.
15,
So you're talking about $50,000 easy.
oh, easily.
Easily,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. And this is like the feedback loops, this skip it. Yeah, and then we have the dry walls and the. So in terms of 911, we are waiting. Also, Primex told us that it was going to get back because we received an invoice of $75 per meeting since November, December, January, February. And it was amounted of 750. I don't know if they came back yesterday telling us if.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Tiffany, did you hear anything from Orlando?
Orlando said he was gonna call you. I think you guys had 13 meetings from January to February, and he said he was gonna call you to discuss the request that you made. I don't think he did because you're asking the question now. But it is up for discussion. So I mean, he is considering it. I think it'll be fine.
Thank you. Maybe that will happen tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll remind him to give you a call.
perfect. And I don't want to put you on the spot, Robert, but the status of Comcast, we haven't
I'm
the 14.
canceling it.
You're canceling? Perfect.
Well, you guys can go.
It's going to cancel Comcast and get a much cheaper option.
Okay, did you guys check what I said about the SIM card with fire alarm?
Yes, and I've opened that up and I've spoken with Comcast and they don't see anything connected directly to a fire line. They can normally tell if it's a fire line. It was a mobile device and they're saying there's been zero activity.
Yeah.
So basically it was only a bundle. Sometimes when you bundle things together, you get they said it looks like it was only a bundle, activated the landline or mobile line to get the discount.
This was accounts that had two mobile lines at a certain point, a fixed mobile line with mobility, 3 boxes for TV. So I'm very glad that we're gonna cancel this.
Okay, and what we're putting in, is it just like a T-Mobile thing or,
Something like that,
Yes.
Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi.
okay, because we need to make sure that we get good internet in the room for the camera.
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah, and the thing is with that, so whether it's T-Mobile or something similar to that. They say the threshold is high enough for that type of thing, but it's month to month. So if we see that it is lagging or slow or something like that, then we can switch to a different.
So it's been a gosh.
Yeah, because Comcast was gonna be like, okay, sign up for another 2 years. And we were it was gonna go from $300 to $250.
Yeah.
$240. And something like T-Mobile would be probably 60, including
40.
taxes.
240 per month, multiplied by 12 in the next year. So more than $2,500. It's good. Now for you, Tiffany, whenever we have the deposits of the special assessments, we need to make sure that the deltas superior than the usual payment, meaning, I'll give 2 examples. We have 2 units that paid, one paid the total of special assessment, and we have unit 27 that paid for 14,200. So we need to take off out of that number 167 or something like that. All the remaining part needs to go to pay the loan in Valley Bank. So it needs to be deducted for the loan. And this was already voted here. So for until now, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are only 2 units. One of them paid total, and the unit 27 paid 14,200. Is there any more units paying more than the monthly?
So there are the one unit 17 paid in full, and then there is also, it looks
17?
like 17 paid in full.
Okay.
And then I'll send you the spreadsheet because I've been keeping track of all of the units who are paying in installments and who are paying in full. Also unit number 16.
16?
Yeah, 16, she tried to pay in full, but because there is a maximum amount that Buildium is allowed to, or will allow somebody to pay, she made 3 installments that equaled up to 5,823, but she's leaving a check at my office tomorrow for the remaining amount. So those are the only 2 units who have paid in full for the special assessment.
No, but we have also that check that you already have from units. Let me tell you which unit it is, because I don't know the number, but I can tell you quickly. So there is the unit 27 has paid 14,200. Okay.
Let me check that on.
I sent you that email.
Mhm. Let me just look really quick.
Okay, and then I'll tell you another one that has paid full, but this is the check of the unit that probably. So unit 24 has paid in full. But this is the check you're still collecting and you're going to deposit this week.
Correct.
Okay, so we need to add to those two units, 16 and 17, the unit 27 and 24. Once again, we take out their monthly fee because this is already paid in the monthly payment that we do. Everything else goes to pay so that
Loan.
money stays in our operating, everything else goes to pay for the loan.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, decide on a workshop to review the survey whenever we have mind to do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now that is a treasurer's report.
It's a nightmare.
Let me check a couple things. Tiffany, do you have anything?
In regards to?
Property managers report?
The only thing I have is just multiple, in regards, you already heard about the special assessment in 2022, all of that was paid. There was one other pending item. Where is this one? Let's see. The update, so the updates on the current special assessment payments, I'm going to send you that spreadsheet that I have with all the updates on who is paid, what they're paying, and then the people who are paying in installments. I don't know if it's something you guys would like to set up in the future. I had mentioned it previously, setting up an account in Buildium that those deposits go directly into the Buildium, your special assessment bank account. I had spoken to Joao and the board at the last meeting, recommending that because there are a large majority of people who are going to pay the special assessment in installments, it would benefit you to set up this special assessment account in Buildium so that those payments go directly into your special assessment account. But that's obviously, you guys can discuss and see if you want to do that in the future. There is 120 installments, so no money, gets left in the operating account. It may be beneficial for you guys to consider setting up this special assessment account in Buildium so that all the payments that are made to the special assessment go directly into your special assessment bank account.
We'll discuss that offline.
You know what it is?
Yes, and we already decided. So I shared these with the board and we decided that for now, we are not gonna have this cost.
Yeah, that's for the future. If in the event you wanted to do that in the future, you guys can decide that. But as for now, everything gets deposited into the operating account and then gets transferred into the special assessment account.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tiffany. I want to go towards, we're on follow-up items, but I want to start first with the roofing project and updates on that, and then we'll bounce around to the other things because I want to give us enough time to discuss the roof. We are, yes, 6. So in that, and the board can chime in as well, and there'll be a little bit of a discussion here. But in the last board meeting last week, we had talked about how we needed to use January, February for information gathering and to really deliver and delve into what is reality, what is true, where are we at, different things like that. We're still in that information gathering element because there's still things that we are uncovering, but we've turned the corner to go into more action mode. What does that mean? So we hired NV5 engineering firm. They came in and did measurements of drywall damage in each of the impacted owners except for one, and we'll follow up on that one. That's just a scheduling thing. That engineer came last week, like I said, did measurements, pictures of everything. The follow-up to that is that they are sending, most likely next week, Friday, the second type of engineer that is going to be the more technical roof specialist, looking at what the mansards are, how they're connected, what is done, roof. And they do more the technical elements of assessing what has been done to the roofs and to the mansards. In that, as we were speaking with our lawyer, we had sent to the current general contractor a letter, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, demanding information on licenses, permits, insurances, yeah, and those things. That deadline has come and gone. We did not receive anything. And so as of today, this week, we were writing a new letter. And as of today, we have submitted to them through our lawyer, essentially a demand and termination letter. So what does that mean? We still have to give them 7 days to provide information back that was requested, but there's information in there, or there's demands in there that we believe they will not respond to. And so it is effectively a termination letter, which after these 7 days, they will not be allowed back onto our premises. They will not be allowed to do anything, and basically they're not doing anything right now anyway. And so that is a big procedural, I can never say that word, procedural, there we go. Step in how we are pushing things forward. So what does that mean? Directly on the heels of that, we are assessing and looking for, and what we would like from the community as well, is a participatory effort to understand and to basically bring forward certified licensed roofers who would be able to do the job. We're not going to take a long time in this because we understand that the mansards are open, that any damage that could be done is they're exposed. There was a roofer who came yesterday just to look at different things and said it is important to, as quickly as you can, close those up, which we agree with. But so really the two competing forces that we are dealing with is speed and quality. And what's that?
Price.
Yeah, it's a trifecta. But really what we're looking at and how we as a board are looking at that is, we do not want to be in a spot where we just knee-jerk reaction, bring in the first contractor and right away sign something, and then it turns out they're not doing it right or whatever. In connection to, and I'll connect all these dots, in connection to the 50-year recertification, the same company that came and did the drywall inspection, that's doing the roof inspection, that's called NV5. They are also heading up our 50-year recertification that we have 4 weeks to finalize that. And so I had a conversation with them today to discuss, and I haven't shared this with the board yet, so I apologize, but there was no decision made. I said it was information gathering. I said, do you have the capability to come alongside us as a board to help and assist in, as quickly as possible, write a proper RFP that is technical, that covers us, that is lays out the specific specifications necessary, because I don't know how to do that for this. And I'm sure there's something done from the past. And they said, yes, there is there's different levels we can take this. We can be your full project manager where we receive all the bids, we analyze the bids, we put it in a presentation to you, you know, the Cadillac treatment of everything, or you can just do simple writing of the RFP. You guys decide. That was their message to me. They're having a call, they're calling me again tomorrow with that particular person. I would like someone else from the board to be on that call with me. I don't know what time yet. To hear what they are saying so that we can relay that information out to the rest of the board. Why that is connected is speed, quality, price. We have to move as quickly as possible in this. And if we only look at the prior RFP that was done, or different elements there, or just go back to the prior companies who bid, they might be good, they might be bad, I don't know. But we need an objective voice to be able to align us with what is the quality RFP that we need to send out that deals with materials, that deals with specifications of the shingles, of the materials used. And it could be, give us in the RFP, give us a quote on material A. That could be Duralast, or it could be, and it could include, give us a quote on additional material B. That may not be as expensive as Duralast. All that to say is we need to be in a spot where we have flexibility to be able to pivot, but also the speed to get this done. Now, process-wise, there's a discussion on, do we just go right now, close the mansards, and create that as a second or a separate step from the rest of the project? Or do we say, and as quickly as possible, through that RFP, finish the mansards and those enclosures, obviously, but also bid on the whole project? Me personally, I'm in the inclination that I would rather go through a proper process of here's the contractors that can do the whole thing versus one contractor that can just come in right now and fix something, and then a different contractor for the roofs. Why? Because Murphy's Law, and also looking at the history of this project, it's too easy to point a finger at someone else if they didn't do the work. Well, that contractor who did the mansards, they should have done this. We're not liable for that. If it's one company throughout the whole thing, they're responsible for it. Would that mean that it might take a couple extra weeks? Yes, it would. And that's the speed, price, quality thing that we are wrestling with.
Well, on that point, and I agree with everything you said, but I want to, when I wrote it and I mentioned it to a few of you as well, doing the bidding the right way, the way we want to do it, realistically, it will take no less than a month. And I'm being super conservative. It's going to probably take much more than a month. Okay? My suggestion, and the rain doesn't wait. And also, the mansards are there, they're not sealed. So my recommendation is hiring a licensed roofer that has the capability of doing the whole project, but just getting now on a contract to just finish the shingles and seal the mansards of roof number 2 and number 3. While he's doing that work, we do the biddings with another 2 plus the person who's working. And obviously, then I want to do clothing. First of all, we're going to learn about him if he's did a good job, if he's spending time, if he was reliable, and all that. And at the same time, we're going to compare and get the bids for the rest of the roofs and the rest of the wall. Because right now, if we wait another month or two, that black material that is there, that right now is kind of sitting, might get bad. And if we need to go ahead and change that, removing that thing, which is nailed down, the work that it takes, the cost is gonna be crazy. Plus the material, plus putting it again. So my suggestion is getting a reputable licensed roofer that has experience with Duralast and with different systems of TPO to just do the shingles right now, close the mansard immediately, like give us a quote for the shingles, let's get to work. While you're doing it, let's get the bids out and let's, and once he finishes the shingles, we can have a decision or a few weeks later, or if we continue with the same guy, if he gave us good price job or hire somebody else.
My proposal is to present the case to NV5.
Can I add something real quick to both of you from the conversation I had with NV5 today? They said what else, and I forgot to say this at the beginning, what also is possible, they say that department that deals with this type of thing, RFP, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They said they've dealt with many times where a contractor started something, didn't finish. They have solutions to temporary seal it. That gives you the time to go through the process. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how expensive that is.
And this was attached with what I would say. I would rely on NV5 as the trusted entity that we have right now to tell us exactly, okay, should we run for a quick solution because we are really at risk, or what is the cost of securing right now? Thank God this night, and as I told Ron, I was praying in the middle of the night when I started to read the rain. It didn't get in, but I think NV5 is the ideal entity that will tell us exactly, look, to get this secure and get you time, will cost you this is our recommendation, these are the risks of the water falling over the plank. But I would definitely trust a specialized and professional company, and until now NV5 has been providing a very good advice.
Yes.
So I would say.
So the deal need to actually get a full report of the N5 to see exactly what should we do in this case. But it seems like everything goes against some time for us to to work on every project that we have to do. I think that what we need to be clear, and I think that like most of you guys don't have experience in the construction, and there's two different scenarios happening on each. One is the project of the Mansard, and the other one is the project of the Leeward. Re-roofing, it's equal to Duralast. Shingle have nothing to do with Duralast. Shingles are something to do with the final finish that have nothing to do with what Alan was saying. What we need to understand is that the two buildings that are right now open, building 2 and building 3, we need to basically understand how we're gonna close the Mansard, and then understand how we're gonna work whatever system, because until we have the regional manager of this brand coming here and make sure that it's a credible person that can tell us exactly what is the status of this material, then we need to start thinking how we're going to rethink the approach to solution, because perhaps the system might be 50, might be 70% damage. We don't know. So until we have that response, I think that we should carefully consider whatever decision we're gonna make for the future build, because right now what we have here, it only covers 2 buildings barely. Okay, so in this material, we understand that Duralast is the top of the line. If Cadillac's, it's not quality, and it's the most expensive material. And I'm sorry, Alan, if you don't know exactly, what is a PVC and what is a TPO, so please refrain from getting any comments. This is the most expensive material, which is the PVC. So
having by the quotation, sorry, let me finish the conversation here. Once we understand exactly what is the price, the total price that we need to spend on the durable material for the re-roofing, we will probably be more clear on the path that we need to take, because perhaps with all the situation that we have open right now, we probably might be completely, like handicapped in order to approach to sustaining the same system. So we cannot work with one system and then switch to another after that. So this is something that we need to.
With the roofs.
With the roof, exactly. The city won't permit.
And Alfredo, I would say that once again, to have an expert telling us and giving all the variables, we have these dual lost in whatever condition it is, etc. They must have passed for hundreds of times the situation. So they will say, look, first thing we do the assessment, then we take the decision. This is going to cost you X, Y, and Z. But I would put myself much better on a professional hands than taking ourselves the path of deciding which is going to be the best path. I think Andrew Life can design and say, look, this is the first step you have to take. Probably they can even be here when they come to assess all these materials. Imagine that they already threatened to give us less the warranty. But if I have a disease, I put myself in the doctor.
There's no somewhere in person, or if all just already mistake and move their blood. Well, in order to explain that we are moving into the right direction, the two buildings are open, we need to finalize it. Before we enter into the other three buildings, we need to understand exactly what is needed. And yes, fine, we provide that, because when we actually, we need to understand that we need to take the 2 layers of EPDM, the tarp that we have on the roof, because this needs to be taken out in order to, if this material, is, we need to actually lose all our slope in order to,
So let me make sure I understand you correctly. Are you saying to separate the processes? Focus only on the mansards now?
What I'm trying to tell you is that the mass and the reefs are two different things.
Two different processes. So you're saying separate it?
Exactly. Well, no, not separate. What I'm saying is that the mansard right now, it's ongoing, but the re-roofing, what is on the flat roof is not even touched yet. So
Right.
that's exactly why you see this material here. So once we actually close the whole mansard and figure it out with the process of the enclosure, because we need to actually have the main background of the climate clear. We need to understand how we going to set up this material and how we're gonna handle all this local water, because we need to understand where we're gonna have all the drainage point and the downspout and all the gutters. So this is something that I never understood from previous project when we were doing, like this project since 2021. I never understood exactly how they're gonna channel all the water discharge outside. So this is something that it needs to be cleared up in order for us to understand how much cost is going to imply.
The roofer would do that though, right?
Re-roof and the material, if we are not being able to rescue the shingle
And once again, I believe all of these variables needs to be put in front of an expert, and the expert to tell us what are the solutions.
It's
I totally agree. When you guys are talking, kind of right on, the thing gives me the most comfort is the idea of having MD5 being a project manager at a deep level, if it's a formal for us to do. So they can answer you, and so they can actually take care of the roofer. We're an arm's distance away, but they're actually doing it. So I'm kind of excited to see the kind of proposals, and I think that's probably our priority is to find out what they can offer, how much it costs, and let's pick out something that makes sense to us, and then let them have it.
Okay,
So,
in order to define the scope of work and the specification, we can go clearly on to the project.
yeah, I'm signing with you too, using any RFPs from the past, it's like frequently walking the streets, do it, just start fresh with just us on.
Was the issue here that everything. That's exactly what it was, that's exactly what we wanted, because we're trying to say so hard, so I think we were. Okay, so hopefully I can give an opinion And I can explain to you how the pitch works.
Explain anything to me.
So all these material you see here, this foam is designed to create a pitch one way to the back of the building where we have all the water coming out. And we don't need explanations for that because that's not our job. And as you said correctly, the mansard has nothing to do with the flat roof, which still didn't start. So all I was saying is, we need to finish the shingles, to put on the mansard, to seal them, and that needs to be done fast. You wanna go to MV5, I'm great, let's do it. But if MV5 will take another 3 weeks to give us a report, we're not fine. In these 3 weeks, we already have to have 3 roofers ready to go to close the shingles. And I'm saying again, this roofer, and by the way, there are roofers that work with TPO. TPO is a type of system. There are many type of systems, TPOs, that was the flat roof. This is not the Cadillac of the flat roofs, by the way. There are other systems that cost about the same. They give you 30 years warranty, not 20 years warranty. All of them use this type of material. The difference between one and the other is 2 different companies, and those companies at the end of the day, they just want to sell material to roofers.
Maybe you're saying, let's get the shingles out, even if we have to hire a roofer, that's not gonna be the long-term roof, we just get the shingles out, right?
Exactly, I'm saying, let's hire a roofer that can do eventually the flat roof as well with this type of system.
Would you do that? Would you do that? Is your thoughts to do it prior to us getting an engineering team or a project manager?
I'm fine with getting, answers from MV5, I'm not against it, but I'm saying parallel to it, we already have to line up 2 or 3 roofers that are ready to go. The moment MV5 tells us, yeah, guys, just shingles for now, it's okay. But if they're gonna take another 2 weeks and we still didn't find 2 roofers and then we're gonna go out to find the roofers, we are losing time. And I'm telling you guys, the next one is gonna be on us.
The shingles are not the problem, okay? And I'm sorry your ignorance, but I mean, the shingles.
But it's also,
The problem, it doesn't matter, it's cold.
what's your process?
No, I mean, it's just a this, I don't like this, or I am. But I'm not top. So.
Well, I'm not all started.
We can talk and we can discuss different perspectives.
She sent me a question, yeah, answer my question. He's a what is the flat roof?
His opinion, I think that what you're saying.
I see what say, then this question, what is the thing is called? Explain to me, hold on, and it's a self, and not future, the flat what do I need to explain? Because when it was well, you just see that conference, can you be something?
We're not gonna get anywhere.
Sweet, we already know that the water thing coming is not. Done. So what you.
So the point here is, Robert says,
Okay, that makes no sense what you're saying.
yes, tomorrow, Robert, you're gonna have a conversation with MV5, and I think we are.
Okay, enough.
So I do a motion to follow this path. I don't see anything wrong on finding roofers. I think everybody, by the way, everybody find roofers, the more fantastic. I think it's the ideal here. The more competition, I came to the United States because I believe in capitalism and competition. But for now, I would put Leeward Point in the process. They told you, they lived a ton of situations like this one. They know our roofs are open. They know the situation of the masters. They're gonna tell us options and then we take a decision.
Yeah.
And this needs to be fast. They're not gonna take us 3 weeks because they know how urgent is the situation. So they need to come up with options and say, look, one option is A, another option is B, another option is C. This is the cost of A, B, and C. This is the times. And also we need to remember that every time we go for a bidding process, it is going to be a huge consumption of time for ourselves. And so we need to be careful about how many bidding process we're gonna do along 2023. Because of what? 2024, because of what? The rainy season is coming. And we don't want to do the 4th and the 1st building and the clubhouse inside of the rainy season. We already saw the damage.
The thing we need to take in consideration is that we have a lapse of time I think that by insurance company until October, November, that we need to have the roof
Finalized.
finalized. And we need to understand exactly what is the state of the final lines of the roofing, we need to actually get done. If by chance we spend sources in completing those two buildings and close out and get it done before the rainy season, I think that chances are that we are not going to have the luck on getting all these other three, done, before.
That's why NV5 needs to come up and say, look, this is the timings we are expecting. This is the timing, three variables, that's quality, price, and timing.
It's one of the variables that we need to actually keep in mind, because they need to also understand that we have.
And once again, October, and I remember talking with Peter Cataldo when I was in the board at the beginning of last year, there is always a possibility of doing a report over 1-4 in Clubhouse and ask for an extension. We don't want that, but it's not a deadline. There's always a plan B for that. But we are already talking about October. We are starting to say, look, let's hear the NV5, let's hear what are the options over the table, giving them all the information. They know we have the materials here. They know we have our roofs open. We know the masters are in the, so tell us when you took over other types of projects like these, what are the options? And then we come here and take a decision. And that's why we are having.
Priorities. So
Yes.
Maybe we do need.
Yes.
I think we can say, we just need some direction.
Meanwhile, yes, let's look for roofers. I don't know any, but let's look for roofers.
Okay, so
Yep.
I need to send the roofer that came yesterday, he needs to know what's the square footage of the mansard in building 2 and 3, so he can give us a quote.
And I believe that would be on the bidding process that was designed for.
Do you have it?
I don't, but I hope, right?
I mean, we already have it,
But
Yeah. It's two with all.
look, there were three entities answering.
Yeah.
Somebody answered the message. There were three entities answering for the previous message contract. I'm sure the measures are there. They must be. So I'm
but
gonna.
I looked in the,
And you just, do you have that made that information from?
Yeah.
But I feel like that should be able to. Also, if your quote comes in, what guarantee do you have that I will find it for tomorrow that's cheaper than yours because I know the price?
I don't,
Exactly. So you want this process to be done legally and properly, which was a mistake that was made the first time around?
yeah,
I think it should be.
we need to have it for everybody.
An invitation for a meeting, that's exactly what the procedure should be.
There's no question of.
And now the question is more, okay, are we gonna beat it by parts or are we gonna beat it totally by conditional? And I think NV5 is the ideal entity to tell us, okay, why should we go like, it will always be conditional. By the way, conditional on the mansards. I don't believe that all the mansards on the 4th and the 1 by all the.
So I would like-
It's all I see.
Yeah, I would like someone to join me on the call tomorrow.
I can join you, sure. What time is it?
I don't know yet.
Okay, I join you.
You can invite me to. If you want.
I think with the legal, it would have to be more.
Okay.
Sure. If you want.
So, good discussion, and I think reminder for all of us, we can have different opinions, but it's important we remain respectful to each other.
By the way, and the roofer said that all this material is good to go. The only thing that might be damaged partly the cement
On
board.
the far side,
Yeah, but the glue should be fine. This has, the only function of this is the pitch. And on top of it,
The
there's
when the regional manager of Duro Labs is coming in, tell us exactly that. I don't believe in a roof estimator or approach, and I think that we need to be a little bit serious about it. So Chris, Malone needs to come here and take a look at it. And I think that was already set from previews from the very beginning.
correct,
Yes.
that there's no going around that.
This guy.
We have the termination letter now.
He's a sales regional manager, but he is the head of the South Florida, and he is above every roofer or everyone in the
And
house.
at the end of the day, you will be the one that gives or not the guarantee. So
Well,
That's if by any chance, he's gonna condition the party, I wanna see everyone agree with that, if you're gonna be able to get that.
let's see that after.
and the text I sent to the group today,
That for me is one of the surprise.
no, that was from a different roofer who bid, who was talking with that Chris.
Yeah, but they
Got
get no information from me that I'm,
No, but my point in that is Chris is already talking to other people about hopping on this project.
he told me that he's gonna help us to find someone, but he's going to basically give us the information prior, like he contacts us. I guess.
A lot of reserves on that. A lot of reserves on that. The last time that Duralast was asked to provide names, they only provided 2 eligible names, and that's why we only had 2 names for bidding for 1 and 4. So I have 30 years of experience to tell you, I have lots of reserves on the recommendation of Duralast.
If they create their own scarcity, that only helps them in their pricing.
Of course.
Curious too.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say suspect, but.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be, let me spot.
You could say suds.
They're the ones you don't set. On the warranty, so in reality, getting deeper warranty or low warranty that we have, I think that we should actually take a decision because that's.
Yes, whenever you.
Yeah, and by the way, after they come and give us, decide and all that, there might be an option if we decide that building 2 and 3 was done with our last, building 1 and 4 in Clubhouse is done with another TPO system.
Let's only discuss that. Guys, there's so many ramifications on the decision. Let's discuss that afterwards. Alfredo, please.
Different systems.
So, guys, let's not close all the branches of the decision tree because it's so big. Whenever we get there, we're gonna discuss, sorry, because if not, we're gonna discuss like 8 or 9 different options.
We haven't used Duralast on all buildings.
So, system, signal, what system,
Get that information.
Ready to go?
Because that's gonna kind of scroll and say to
what's
the.
the city, and do you want to actually get the information from the city, you need to, early.
Let's talk about it.
Where?
Is,
Okay.
yeah, so we need to actually move.
But the open permit we have is for only building 2 and 3, or also 1, 4, and 5.
Okay, this sounds like a scaling company thing.
Yes.
And it's invaluable.
So.
Very well. So, any questions from homeowners?
Do we have any idea on timing for when we? I assume no, like when we can have a school board.
I'll know more tomorrow. And obviously I'd be pushing for as soon as possible. What I don't want is the conversation to turn around and say, send us all your different package options within a week, and then, yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly that whatever it is, that it has to be done expediently. And that's, and to that extent, in terms of everything that we have going on today, like, for instance, we got essentially not a cancellation letter, a strongly worded, we talked about this before, from our insurance company for the palm trees, the railing, and a pool sign. That is just highly dangerous, being covered by a bush. And so we had the tree trimmer out, cut the palm trees that were over the touching the building. The pool sign is done, and what was the third one? I just said it.
The railing.
The railing, yes. So we took picture evidence of all those things being finalized, fixed, and we sent that to our insurance agent. He's now sending it. I had to sign a form saying I signed my life away, that this is accurate and do that. So, you know, we're balancing the offense and the defense. The defense is, you know, we have this insurance over here trying to cancel us. We'll push that. We'll just submit the picture evidence that we got that taken care of. We're on the offense. We send the termination letter to the general contractor. We're now going on offense to RFP and find other certified and licensed roofers. And all at the same time, what I would like to be able to do is communicate to the larger Leeward Point community about all these different things, as long as it doesn't get too complicated or in the weeds, so that people who don't attend this meeting, either in person or online, have a sense of everything that has happened. Because for me, that's the important thing for a community to know. If they don't know what's going on, and all of a sudden the first communication they get is a special assessment. You know, I as an owner would be pissed off. So we have to do a good job of communicating and partnering with the community. So.
What's the next point?
What are the most important ones that are left on here?
We have Unit 11 insurance claims, so it was denied, and we need to take a decision on the repair and removal.
And we did have NV5 go look at it, and she even said it was minor, the drywall.
Yeah, Greg told me that he's also going to provide me with an estimate, but it seems like the repair also needs to contemplate the roof, because the roof obviously it has a sign of wear and tear, and the leak is coming from the roof. So either we actually go and he actually did it before when he was part of the board. What they do is they open up an area and they repatch it. So they need to find out exactly what is the area and then do the patching on the roof, and then, you know, clip the ceiling. I think the ceiling is no more than 2 by 3, you know, square foot of, you know, like jigsaw board. And but he would pass the estimate to me, and then I would pass to the board.
Yeah.
Taking those.
And then also as NV5 produces the report on sort of the overall square footage of drywall damage and different things like that, then we can just include that equation.
He's 100% sure that it's the ceiling around the vent in the laundry, which is, you know, like what usually what the water, you know, comes in. So it's the ceiling that around the perimeter of the gooseneck, that it's exactly your situation. So, and that's exactly what.
Okay, so he'll get a quote and we'll talk with NV5 as well.
We already know how much it costs. She just did it.
The drywall?
The drywall.
The fixed one. Yeah.
450.
I actually told Alberto to get the estimate from Diana and from Natalie. At the same insurance.
It was the same thing.
Okay, so if that is the case, so then we can probably go ahead and then use that same person, or
They need a gooseneck.
I think they need to actually see on the top, and somebody needs to go there.
Well, actually, they fixed it before for me. Actually, Alberto was the one who fixed mine. And it was mine.
It did yours.
It was minor. It was just some corrosion, and he fixed it. I think it didn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same thing. Alberto should know.
Parking behind dumpster.
Guys, I'll do a motion to say, no, it's not a parking place, and it is what it is, sorry, it is, we cannot listen to us time, it's all experience statements, common, so. It's not. It's not.
And it's not designed for that, so that's a problem.
Okay, so we said it.
Yeah, I mean, I read the letter. You don't need to turn on, it's just seen. I There's enough going on, there's,
I would prefer not to. This is so sensitive, pink.
Sorry,
Thank you, sorry.
can I move it from the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
there's a lot going on in the community and I'm fine with saying no, but I just want us to be aware, across the whole community and to your point of your email, I'm parking illegally sometimes because there's no spot. And depending on when I get home at night, and I should lead by example, but if there's no parking spot, where do I go? And so,
I think we should enable the parking spot that is next to the garbage. There is a parking spot there, no?
That actually is an alternative.
So can we make that spot like a guest?
You're gonna take, you got.
I got a ticket when I parked there.
So can we make a motion to make that spot a guest parking?
And the only thing is, as they remove the dumpsters,
It's very risky, yeah, because that's.
Okay, it's park on your own risk, but
Oh, no. That's not gonna be our own house.
And then suddenly they hit the car and say, you
Yeah.
told me to park
We're
here.
not gonna wash our hands of
but if someone, we don't need to promote it, but if someone
So
parks
can we
there.
send the communication saying, this is not a parking place, we know people are finding places to park, I do not know. what place.
I park out here.
So, and if you
Got that.
No,
Or I park over here.
yeah. So, we send the communication saying, this is not a parking place, period. Yeah. And then example are finding places to park, but this is not a parking place.
I think that's right, to establish that it's not a parking spot, I think we should give a little bit of leeway. Even temporarily as a board, to let them continue until this is finished, I'm okay with that, so anyway, just one more.
that's what I
Just
suggest.
keep parking. So I'm gonna start parking every.
So is Tiffany still here?
Yes.
She wrote the letter.
I'm here.
Like, I don't understand why the letter is two beginnings, so we have dear ta ta ta, and then dear ta ta ta, why don't we say something simpler? Differently, because you have two beginnings.
Correct, and
No.
that is the format that is used by the lawyers that have created that, and we use for our, other associations, so that it's up to you how you want to format it. That's the
Okay.
draft. So however you guys want to move forward, and if you just want that one paragraph instead of both, that's fine.
Me personally, and this is just me speaking, I don't like calling what it is a violation. I'd rather have it be more like a communal. This is a green spot. We're damaging this area. There's other spots. Please find somewhere else on the pavement to park.
My suggestion on the letter is establishing, like, black and white, establishing this is not a parking spot, period.
Yeah,
It doesn't belong to you, and you have zero claim on it.
which you
So-
did a good job.
Exactly,
in the
so
last-
establishing that, number one. And then continuing, however, because we have all this stuff here. For the short term until
Yeah.
we have more parking spots, it's on your risk. To park there, and we take no responsibility on anything that happens. Kind of telling him, in the meantime, you can park there, but just so you know, it doesn't belong to you, you have no claim, zero. And it's your.
Saying that your green area, people can park there and then have the car park. Because that's a green area and there is a space for a parking lot. So it's exactly saying, okay, if you. So let's make a parking lot. This is an area that is designated for being a green area. We have the liability because it's a blind spot. We actually have a problem to the back, but we already discussed it. Why are we going to actually basically negotiate temporary parking on that spot when we know that there's such a liability of blind spot?
I think becomes an access to the park, so. I think I like the other way it was. I think
Just keep it.
I would keep it, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, I mean, if you want to change the violation thing, this is typically a violation, but understand. directors in the past that actually gave permission, we're not gonna pursue the violation, but please be aware of that type of thing, you know.
I'm just,
A little softer.
I'm just trying to connect the dots. How can we tell him you can park in that green area, which is not that green and gets flooded? When some of us on this board is parking in an area that is, you're not supposed to park. If you can answer that, then I'm okay with your better.
It was already found when he parked.
It wasn't fine, they put a sticker on his car.
Okay. No, but I'm sorry, in front of this is not a parking place, not your risk. You can find whatever place to park. I know somebody that was towed away because he parked in the 29 place, so I think we should be just asserting of that, and if he parks, it's always risky. Like, you know, whenever you park.
Well,
I think the thing we need to go here, is coming back.
He also parked in front of the garbage, the loading zone.
but what you just said is what I said.
Sorry?
What you said is exactly what I said.
Yes, it's a no. But I just say the first paragraph. I don't say the second paragraph about, by the way, you can park while, well, it's only, I just said the first one. This is not a parking spot.
Not a parking spot.
Alright?
And then if I go there and park tomorrow, like the evidence of.
But I would go further, it's not just that it's not a parking space, but that space does not belong to your unit in any way, shape or form.
And
That's what we need to establish here.
in that specific case, because he was taking claim to that.
He was taking claim.
I think you already understood because you already showed.
Yeah, but just so we put it in writing.
But I put it like I reiterating, okay, if you want to reinforce that, fine, but I mean, the point is that it's a, this is a parking zone.
Okay.
Okay, I understand. Tiffany, did you get that?
Yes, I
Tiffany,
heard.
we'll
So
do this.
yeah, you wanted to change it instead of it saying a violation, just a courtesy warning. Take out the second paragraph and I'll just revise it and send it to you and you let me know.
Well, yeah, thank you.
And we'll be suspending the water until. No comments.
Oh, yeah. Can you, what happened with the 1099s for the, what was the section, so I know you. That doesn't make sense.
Did you
Okay,
hear that, Tiffany?
yes, I've heard it and I've seen it on emails. The 1099 was submitted through Buildium. We already discussed the fact that the emails were incorrect. I updated the emails, but the actual physical 1099s were sent to the Leeward Point mailbox. So that's where they should be. Has anybody checked that mailbox recently?
When were they sent?
They were sent.
Check it yesterday.
Alfredo checked it yesterday, Tiffany. Was
You
not
checked it?
there.
You checked it yesterday? Okay.
That's-
Well,
No, not
according,
myself, Alfredo, I don't have to.
But I mean, were they sent in January, like in the normal process, or were they just sent because they don't have them?
they were that from what I heard from Buildium today, when they confirmed that they were just sent. They were not sent in January when they were supposed to. They were just sent.
Okay.
Okay, but
So
can you email them as well?
I don't get a physical,
And
I don't get an email, I don't get that information. That's personal information from them. I asked if I can receive a digital copy. That digital copy was sent to that email, which was Alberto. I don't know what the rest of the numbers were at email.
I think that we are few step, behind because yesterday you promised after I actually provide every information, Carlos information with their personal email, that I should actually will follow up on that and will give you a response today. I checked with them at 2 in the afternoon and not single one of them received any information regarding. Heather have to cancel his meeting with the tax agent because he's still waiting for some information. So not even digital, because right now we don't know exactly where the paper is leaving. Last year, Carlos received by hand the form from you guys. So that delivery, it doesn't make any sense because you guys don't deliver it to their addresses. You hand delivery to them. This is exactly the traditional way how we've been doing it 2 years.
I emailed you what I was able to get from Buildium. I emailed you, all they need is the amount that they made throughout the year of 2023.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
that
I
information, Tiffany, that information is not available for them as of today in the afternoon. So what happens? Because I give you all information for you to proceed and to make their lives easier. So they don't have that information in their emails.
emailed it to you.
She emailed it to you.
I responded to the email to you with what I received from Buildium, which is all they can provide me. How they'd hand delivered it, I don't know how it was hand delivered. I know the process according to Buildium, which I was on the phone with them yesterday for 2 hours, today for an hour. And the information that I received from them, I emailed it to you, and it has the amount.
Tiffany, what you emailed to us, just
Mm.
2 entries on Buildium. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't prove anything. It's just 2 entries on Buildium. It could have been made.
It's not entries, it's the amount that they made. They need for their taxes to know the amount that they made for the year of 2023.
No, but that is not an official document, so I don't believe that anybody can present that to an accountant. Sorry, that is a printout of Buildium.
Well,
Is it a
they're-
technical,
the-
Tiffany,
the
is this a technical issue that you cannot access that area or?
no, it's not a technical issue. I asked if we could have the digital copy or some copy of their 1099. They do not provide us with that. So I don't know who hand delivered this to them last year or how they were able to, but they don't give me a 1099 for anybody. It gets delivered directly to their house. Another copy gets delivered to Leeward Point to your mailbox on site, and then a digital copy.
Tiffany, that nobody has received those calls. We haven't received it as Leeward Point. Alfredo said he checked on the mail yesterday, and either Carlos and Amber. So we need to inform Buildium that nobody received, so something wrong has happened.
I spoke to them today in regards to that, and the only thing that can be done to escalate it is to resubmit it again. And now their updated emails are in Buildium, so they'll receive a digital copy, which that is what they can use to submit to do their taxes. But
So that's exactly what she asked me yesterday, and I sent all the information, like thinking that was resolved today. Yes, it's.
No, it's not resolved, because in order to get to resubmit a second 1099 e-filing, they're gonna have to pay for it. It's another copy is like $8 to $16 for each one of them. So they can either wait to receive in the mail, which is it should have already been there by now, according to Buildium, who I spoke to them today. This is not something I'm just throwing under the rug and I don't care about. I've been trying to solve this problem for you guys. I can't give you answers that I don't have. They said it was on the way and that it should have already been there by now, mailed.
Yeah, and I know their email that was in the system was Alberto's. Did Alberto receive any?
Alfredo said he asked Alberto, and he
On my email, Alberto shouldn't have by receiving because
Someone put that email in the system, so.
in email.
So Alberto.
I called him, I can actually tell him, to come and to confirm. He said, please take me out of that. Because I never considered, maybe my email to them.
Buildium confirmed that the 2 links were sent to that email. They confirmed with that to me today that the link for the 1099s for both people were sent to that email, Alberto, whatever it was at Gmail.
Yeah.
It's a link. It's a link that has to be followed, and the instructions have to be followed in order to download the 1099. That was for sure sent to that email. Was it incorrect? Yes, it was incorrect. But if a vendor is changing their email address, they have to notify us. We don't know that their email is changed.
And was that emailed in January?
That's the email that has been attached to their account since as long as I've known. It's both of them have that email address, and not anymore because I updated it, so that won't happen again this year. But there's
Nothing.
nothing I can do about what was submitted. That's not my department. I'm not the 1099 creator.
No, and I get that, and sometimes getting it,
And I'm trying to help you and Alberto and Carlos and Herbert and everybody, but like, you know, coming at me for something that has nothing, I don't have anything to do with 1099s, and I've been running around crazy trying to figure this out for them. But all I can tell you is what I've been told, which is it has been mailed to Leeward Point and has been mailed directly to their physical addresses, which I did provide in the email to Alfredo where they got mailed to. And they were digitally down. I'm sorry, but they were
The
digitally.
discussion here is not to back and forth on reasoning who have the right. I think that we are a month behind and this worker needs to actually file their taxes. That's the bottom line. I think that we need to resolve this problem ASAP without no contemplation of arguments and
zero.
and comment that.
I agree. I completely agree.
What she already said.
They're sending you
It has already been sent. It's already been sent.
to our,
I emailed to them and probably is arriving on the mail because it was on the mail today.
Alright. Next.
okay, gym air conditioning unit.
What happened with that?
The gym area was low this Saturday and it was basically hot air. And I was actually thinking that we need to get the air condition technician, you know, like look at it and see exactly what happened because it's been going on and we don't know exactly if we need to, you know, revise whatever cleaning we need to do inside of the coil or it's dust or I don't know exactly why because
There's no water dripping?
no, it's actually, you know, blowing, you know, like hot air.
Okay.
So.
Do we have a vendor that normally comes for?
Already asked, is there anything in warranty? Nothing. No.
Is it different than what's in here?
Yes.
Two separate.
Yeah, it's still, it's still hot. Yes, well, right now, I think.
Maybe it froze.
Yeah, or either it's frozen, is, you know, like people are basically handling in a different temperature and that is the cause of a problem. So I don't exactly, you know, how we should take a look at it to this situation and then, or either put a box and have the temperature control some way somehow. I know that some people, you know, like some comfort, some, you know, like cold air, but I didn't put in aircon.
Between 72 and 76 or whatever. I would not. Because I don't even know if somebody put it for this everybody would call, and we don't have money now to call, sorry.
Yeah, if it's working now, I say, I mean,
Yeah.
I have some experience because I had so many problems that I already know how to fix certain things. But beyond that, we need to call somebody. I have a good guy, reliable, that can come, but let's first see ourselves. If not, we'll call.
Well, the solution will box. But what we need to do is we need to find a company that can probably have a contract with us that can come, you know, like you know, like few times a year, like a couple of times a year and review it in the summer, which is, you know, like most critical time. And in winter, so they can do clean, they can do all inspection, because we have 2 units and we need to keep it operating in good condition. So I don't know exactly how old those machines are, but we need to consider a maintenance plan. And I don't know exactly if we have these maintenance plans in place. I think that everybody's so, for instance, I have a plan, payment plans in my unit, and I can, you know, like work with the maintenance, you know, like twice a year.
Can we see what is a reasonable maintenance plan? I don't know if they have to come 2 times per year or 1 time per year or every time 2 years to see what is reasonable, because.
I mean, to come and do basic cleaning and flush. Okay, it should not be more than 200 to $150. If you do it you do it twice a year, that's what it is. I didn't.
Push it by, they clean the.
Like 400 or 500 if you come twice a year.
It's per year, 1 time per.
2 times per year is, I think it's reasonable.
It's, yeah, and this is the normal.
So you'll,
Once.
By the way, I'm changing.
when I spoke with mine, I just had my coils replaced last year. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, I'll pay you on the maintenance plan. He's like, honestly, you don't need to.
That's not all the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my God,
Plus 250 mark.
my God.
Beef, that is, in an environment that's controlled. There's a sort from different backgrounds that they actually even vandalize.
So if you can look into maintenance plans, that'd be great.
Yes, I think so. Well, you know. No, maybe you're right. What's that surgery? Depends on how you because I'm so. Thank you for the quick one. Even if it's like Carlos changing the filter. Usually he does, and but we need to understand, you know, like how many times a month. Actually is once a month. But since we have a lot of people coming here, we need to make sure that at least this is renewed like every 2 weeks, I would say.
I mean, we just need to look at the filter and see if after 2 weeks it's dirty, we switch. If not, once a month. I think.
I change mine once a month.
Yeah, once a month is normally.
Yeah, once a month is needed.
Yeah, okay, so let's make sure that the filter is good. We'll take a look at it.
Okay,
And
during last, we talked about that, legal updates, we talked about that. Construction damages and homeowner claims, talked
Can I
about
make
that.
a section? Can you talk about the incident that I, or this morning, I was waiting for the police report that happens to this Kimberly. And I really want to, you know, hear the side of the story and then be aware about the situation that is being repeated. And we already know, we raised it many times. And I think that what we need to look at the issues is that is happening with an improper behavior and is actually, you know, like getting into the tensions of not only that property, you know, it's also in my own experience and also with the worker. So I think that this is enough evidence that we have something that is happening that is disturbing and we need to address it. Like or not, I don't want to be combative, but I think things need to be said in a way or so, but we need to pay attention to that because until we see blood on the pavement.
would you like to tell us what happened?
Yes. Well, so the day I moved here, Mr. Edward has been harassing me. The first time I'm a physician in my office in South Miami. He complained about his shoulder. I was helping two of the homeowners here, Albert and Mark. And I told him my office is too far, I can't help you, you know, my office is an hour. And I gave up cards to colleagues of mine in the area. From that point on, it was a melting pot. I don't say one word to the man. He confronts me when he became the president. He walked around without a shirt, beating on his chest. I'm the president, I'm the president. Okay, fine, fantastic, I'm so happy for you. I don't say a word. Then I have a boat here, I maintain my property, and I have the gentleman come, he tells him, he told him, you cannot access the greenway, this is not for your use.
The what? Which greenway?
My,
You trying to go
yes, you are not allowed to go here. I told my fellow guy, what is he talking about? I said, I don't know, I don't talk to the man, he's become very ugly with me. So it just kept getting worse. Then he took my son, asked my son, told my son, do not come through the greenway, this is not for your use. You have to go all the way around. And I told him, don't ever speak to my son if you have a problem with your greenway, because it's not your greenway. I spoke to my landlord, silence. I spoke to Mark, silent. I asked him, please do not speak to my son, and you don't belong here, you're effing this, you're ignorant, be you are a effing on and on and on. You said, this is a community, we're here to make things nice for each other. I maintain my property and my people will be using the greenway as per the laws here, the bylaws. We park in our spot, you park in your spot. Everybody is happy, peaceful, clean up our landscaping, we clean it up, we don't leave it on for any of the strollers to get stuck with the children and get hurt. I don't care about that, you don't come here anyway. I have talked again to Mark, he told me, don't ever come to my house again, call Primax. I called Primax and
I'm sorry, what's,
when I first moved here,
I mean, what was the date? What was the month?
it was January of 23.
Okay, this is going on.
Since I moved here, I moved here in November.
Would you say that?
4, 5. Yesterday, I saw you guys, okay, hold on, let me finish.
Sure.
I told my voting person said, I cannot work here, this is horrible, this man is in front of me. I said, listen, it's okay, we're gonna work it out. Mark again, silent, the guy said, don't bring anything through here. He said, listen, you live in your house, I live in mine, we're all peaceful, just let you, we all share the dogs. I maintain my road every 3 weeks. I like things very clean. I clean up my landscaping as I go in my yard, not everybody's common area, that's for the landscaper. You're not allowed to come through here, after that, I call the police. Then, I come out, I had my car detailed. First thing in the morning, I drove it over here, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm here because of the roofers, I have my car over here, because of the roofers. They've already messed up my windows with the sawdust. So I move my car on a daily basis. I'm sorry, the gentleman, I heard the lawn, it was a Friday, because I know Herbert comes and I move my car, so he doesn't go to my car, I know what's in the car. So I just had to detail. I heard the blower, I'm like, oh, he's not supposed to be here, when he comes, he becomes friends. Eddie was blowing my whole car, covered in dirt. I said, what are you doing? I'm doing landscaping. I said, you just blew my car covered in dirt. You're just effing this and you're ignorant of this and on and on. And I said, sir, respect everybody. When you were gone, we had a hurricane. All of your furniture was in the water. I pulled it out. Your container was in the front, and this gentleman as a witness, and my children was in the front. Almost hit my car between Herman and my car, and I went to everywhere. Did you notice a piece of your? No. I looked in the back, it was tinted. I put it all there and I see under the shelter, so it wouldn't go again and crush my furniture. I didn't ask for anything, I'm that type of person. If there's a problem and it needs to be fixed, I'm gonna help to get it right and nobody get hurt. That was during the hurricane. I would do that for you. I don't need you to do anything for me because right now you have destroyed my heart with all this dirt all over it. I didn't do that. He gets to the landscaper Bro, I have pictures, I don't know, if I'll bring it up, I'm just giving you the pictures. His indecent exposure going up to my son in the towel, with no clothes on, telling him, don't come here again. I said, sir, I don't want you to do anything but rinse my car off, and we're done here. Go in your house, I go in my house, and I live my life in peace. I'm not doing anything after this, ignorant, and like, oh my God, what is this? I'm shaking
He was calling Alejandra.
out loud. Freaking like a weirdo. I called the police. Please, officer, this man is frightening me. He's confronting my children. I'm afraid to leave my home. The officer came and goes, wow, he did that to your car. He goes, but there's no damage. We can't do anything. I called Alejandro. I talked to Mark.
Who's Alejandro?
Alejandro.
Okay.
2777.
Uh-huh.
Silence. Please don't say anything to Edward. I said nothing. They said, just come and go. I said, that's nothing to do. I come and go. I was like, yeah, please. I say, I love everybody. You know, and I say, maybe not. I give them water, whatever, just so. Again, the other night. Oh, I'm sorry. We continued the landscaping. My dad is retired. He's a retired naval officer. He's in a wheelchair. He cannot get through the walkway. And I have pictures. I picture each and every one of you the pictures. I'm not exaggerating. That's not my MO. I just think it's in black and white. Here it is. This is the situation. I'm being abused because I'm a single being. I don't know what it is. Nor do I care. I just want it to stop. So I asked Herbert, my dad fell the other day because he's going to get through here. And this guy keeps parking his car. He has two spaces, one on the end and one in front of this gentleman, not small. But he doesn't want us to use the walkway. So he parks his car, he can skate on the weekend. Please skate. And I have pictures of that too.
Police stayed between his car and the bush.
And the dog. Nobody can use it.
And the dog. Yeah, because he put a yellow tape so nobody can come across that.
That is private Idaho of hell. So I took pictures. I asked her, please, my dad has a walker. I don't want to fall again. He blew up. Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back. The day that happened with the car, when you give him a car, I walk the neighborhood every day, 3 times a day. He's down in his road on the list that he stole from the neighbor, recording after he called her to come over and make it look like it was him. I blew up, not inside, because I can be homeless, like I felt homeless, and you're not going to blame your problems on something innocent man. I refuse, I cut loose.
So one of the things that is, I think, important for us is obviously the safety and security of our whole community. And I think what is also important, thank you for sharing those difficult stories. I know that's very painful.
And
I think Alfredo has shared with us the police reports. One of the things that I worked in a university, and we have something called Title IX. Title IX started off with fair representation of female athletes in sports, and it's morphed throughout the years, and now it's an element about safety, security, non-discrimination. But from a process perspective, something that is very important, and it doesn't need to be both of you at the same time, but to hear both individuals' perspective. Not that one is more trustworthy than the other, but it's about having a balanced and fair perspective. So I would recommend that we, as a board, what you said is very disturbing. I hear you. I know that is definitely not pleasant. We've read the police reports, or at least a picture of the element of that. And no one should be treated that way. And if that is dealing with common area, with the police state, that is the community's area, that is not an individual's private walkway. And so one of the things, and if he's walking, when you say, can I ask a couple of questions, Mr. Rowan? When you say decent exposure, was he taking his towel off, or was he in a towel?
And in town. No, it
Okay.
does.
He wasn't necessarily exposing himself. Okay. What I would recommend for us as a board is that we, and I don't necessarily know how to do it, but we have a letter ready, but we also, I think it's important to hear the gentleman's perspective. And I'm sure he'll have something to say, but I think that wasn't directed towards you, but hey, this is what I experienced, this is my perspective, and we need to hear that fair and balanced. But I think, and all that to say, if there's violations with community, limited space, we address that. If there's issues dealing after we speak with them in terms of disrespect, aggressive behavior, then we will address that as well.
I think it would be interesting to bring also Heather, which was a subject of aggression. We have a report, I filed a report, and I actually shared the same with you guys. So it would be interesting to hear from another perspective, with another gentleman, but I thought we're working in the community, how he's being feel threat by some person's behaviors. So I think that Kimberly's testimony, it's one part, but also hearing our worker, Heather, his point of view, so it will be also very important to determine that this conduct and this behavior should not be allowed in the community.
So I didn't know there was going to be this testimony tonight. What I recommend in the next meeting is we invite the owner of that unit in, and whether we do that on camera or off camera, I probably would prefer these types of conversations to happen off camera. But that we invite him to a next meeting and hear.
I would recommend to reconsider that, because we are not judges. This is a civil case between two people, and if anything escalates to some kind of violence, that is not our job, that's the police job. What we can do, and in my opinion should do, is send a letter to the homeowner, ask and making sure that he understands that anybody can walk through that, and he has no claim, and he cannot ask anybody not to walk. So that is something that we can do. But the fighting, it's not our job. So we need to be careful about that. Because then he said, she said, we cannot decide.
Can I jump in just for a second? Is Tiffany still on the call? Tiffany?
She's not.
No?
I have 3 witnesses, and also the roofer Oddly is another one, a victim of this cancerous.
Well, I recommend we get Tiffany involved and find out what her expertise said about this before we make a decision. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
It's sad. I mean, we most likely will need our arms length on this, to be honest with you, from the board. I think I partially agree with you on that, Alan. But let's get the expert's opinion on it, which we do. We need to stop it, because he did break the bylaws. If you, depending upon how you define respect. So.
So please recommend to also report him to you guys and to the management company. And I've been in contact with the report at 8 o'clock this morning. They indicated that I need to take up a restraining order on the man because he has approached my minor. And he is constantly abusing me. He will do not speak to her again. So I come out that evening for the landscaper was in front of my home. And I bring him little things I make, I like to cook. So I said, oh, I have to drink that night. And then he fell. And I went, oh my God, he's sick. I said, are you okay? Are you okay? And he went up, and I was like, please let me help you. He goes, no, you just ignore that man. I went, what man? I'm sorry. He goes, that man, he's doing cheat to the neighbor, the ladies that sat out front. So he's abusing it multiple times. She went at me, she. Last night. This morning, he did it again when I'm walking my dogs. He is trying to intimidate me to where I move. And this is wrong. I can't even go in my back patio without him saying something awful. And I live on my back patio. I work from my home now, and I'm enjoying it here. I'm not being happy here. It's small.
This is an American team to us, it's secondhand information. So I recommend you take a leadership board, the narrative we have, and let's just do it officially, since it's everybody to stop and follow us, so we can see the percent of that, they'll enjoy it.
They just told me to notify them, and so Alfredo was nice enough to go ahead and do that for me. And I have all the pictures. And I have the witnesses. And my driver, I don't know because now he's embarrassed. So I will do what I can to rectify this because it can't only be happening to me.
Well, probably not, the reason why you do it without somebody else doing
I
it,
know.
just because it happens to be.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to ask the board, if maybe next meeting, we can address the issue of cameras and that, because I saw a lot of this issue. If we have some live cameras in the back, we have them in the front, why wouldn't we have?
Right in the front here.
Yeah, we have cameras in front, but
We do, yeah.
we looked at it past. It has a cost, obviously.
Yeah, well, we haven't considered that, but just an idea to address the issue.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. That's just.
Or I'm afraid to go out at night. Or even at the moment because of my.
No, I relate to your story because it happened to me, happened to together, and I was simply, like waiting to happen on this reaction. So, but this is on the bylaws and the declaration, the behavior, conduct, like what he's displaying to the neighbor is not acceptable. And I actually clearly say on the email, so I don't know if you guys read it, but this is something that needs to be taken into consideration. It's the behavior of this guy that is actually it's only threatening not only women, also the workers and also my person, because it's actually like displaying the aggression towards me.
Yeah.
I think there's two things that we have to realize. We have very little recourse on this as a board and association, but it sounds like it's getting into a legal issue. You're absolutely right. That has to be taken care of in a different manner, not through us.
Yeah.
That's the-
But the police doesn't take this into account. They say this is a civil matter. So we have a civil.
Well, they just recommended that you put a restraining order.
Yeah,
So-
when you
restraining order have to be
situations, then you can have a restraining order, because we have the situation within the law. And after 3 situations, I think the police can issue a restraining order. It's crazy that they cannot issue immediately, but I think that's the process. Yes.
But he did tell the police officer the other day, because I stood out there, I didn't say a word. I don't say a word to him, nothing. He's the one who comes aggressive to me. I don't even say anything to him anymore because he stops me like this in his house. Don't come through here like this. What you do is you don't belong. So nonetheless, he told the police officer she's been destroying my property. That's what I told him. Because I asked the landscaper if it was possible to do the sidewalk, so my dad doesn't fall again. That was it. And he's very upset, he told the police officer, that's my landscaping. And clear, so you know it's not.
So what we can get involved is in this common area. The common area, what, that he has no claim on landscaping or passage through there or anything like that.
In terms of the bylaws, we can say there were several claims of disrespect, and according to these, we recommend the civic not living in proper behavior. And if he wants to come here, then we obviously hear him like everybody, but we say, look, we got
So we got multiple already. We should not know one.
yes, so and this is.
Also, he parked so you can't access it. He parks in front of his car, his other car, instead of parking in his space, he has a space right there. You know, he just doesn't want to access it, and I asked him, how is that? He goes, I don't know. He goes, he's parking in front of Ron's house, in front of his window. He said, I don't like that he parks there.
So we can add parking as well, so we have future meetings. All right.
Yeah, well,
Thank you so much for the share.
there's the next one, gym equipment, there was stuff taken out.
Oh.
Sorry, so I had, it wasn't the gym equipment, it was the mats. My son is a professional jiu-jitsu artist, and the mats were dirty. They took the mats out, they had an event. I asked Albert because I thought Albert was the new part of the decorator. So I called Fredo. I called Alfredo that morning or the day before. Hey, do you think he could be out of town? I didn't ask him. I just corresponded, hey, I added a question. I saw Albert that morning, he was to see my trash out like I do every day. And he was, yeah, just do it. I said, we're gonna clean all the mats because there's mildew. I have pictures of all the towels, we clean them all. We put everything back the way it was, absolutely, within 5 hours. We took the mats and we put them back. I told my son, don't ever do it again. I said, I know I have approval. I think it's okay, right? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Alan.
Alan. And Alan. And I had asked Albert, I don't remember of the board. Yes, do it. Albert, yes. And he was, go ahead. We got it. That's good. I said, don't worry, they're not gonna be damaged, the kids aren't gonna be, nothing's gonna damage the mats. I said, I stood by the car, the kids put them away, they cleaned them. Very nice smell, because I prepare all the food for it. And we put them back. That was the end of that. They didn't take anything, they worked out there every day, the kids. And then they made us here. That's all. It will never happen again, I promise.
No, you're right.
I apologize that I caused.
You did it. So don't worry. Thank you for cleaning. Did anybody tell you thank you?
I don't think so.
No, I actually did thanks, but I already told you that the proper channel of communication is first. You need to call the management company to report that, and then the association will actually determine whether it is okay, because what happened is the mean you harm your kid. and then you get sick out of it, so then it's a liability. So that's the point that, you know, we want to avoid for the next time, but the rest are pretty good.
Okay.
Well, I think that brings us
Broken glass bottles and tennis court.
to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, everything today, so, glass, what is this? I don't know.
Well, it happens that on Saturday, are you done with your part? Thank you, Kimberly. Are you done with your part?
I'm done with everything.
Are you done with everything? Okay. So on the maintenance part, Carlos was doing the screening, you know, heat takedown, as you noticed, if you went to the pool area. We took all the screening out, and he was actually taking some time because the weather wasn't helping to do the painting, so we're doing in different sections. So he took the screen out, and he noticed that there were some glasses on the tennis court. So somebody apparently from the gas station started, you know, like tossing, you know, like bottle of glass, and there was a lot of glass, you know, basically vandalized the tennis court. So Carlos and Octavio, because Octavio was actually about to play tennis, so he helped to clear up the glass, and I hope that everything is already, you know, like
Okay.
safe and sound, you know, to play, and that's exactly the incident, that somebody, you know, throw glasses on.
Okay. And lock for tennis court gate and fob to replace pool gate key.
Well, we used to have a fob, we used to have a lock, but that was taken, and I don't know exactly what it is because it's not on the box where we have all the keys, and so everybody can enter, everybody can use the installation, and everything is free to go. So before we used to have a control, but apparently I don't know if we want to implement the control or.
This would get you in.
Let's get you in the pool.
Pool, and then you get to, for the usage I see of the part standings,
Yeah.
I would not implement any control. I don't see anybody doing things.
Okay, well, a previous experience, and you know, to give you a little bit of a history, we have people that sometimes doesn't have the background and sometimes have the education to actually. You know, what the hell, you just twice.
And this time back on education. And education this time.
That's true.
So they were skating on the tennis court. You know exactly how much it costs to repair the tennis court? Make a calculation. So the point here is that we need to prevent, because this is our only, you know, like amenity and assets for everyone here. So we wanted to understand that not everyone has the same care, not everyone have, you know, like the information. And since we are a small community and we think that we always have a problem with communication, not everybody is aware of what is the proper behavior when you enter into this. You enter into with the wrong shoes. You enter with, you know, other equipment that actually harm the padding on the tennis court, and it's actually, you know, really expensive to fix and to repair than to resurface. So every time that this is happening, I think that we need to be conscious and need to educate other people to understand that this is a very sensitive area that needs to be in control. If we wanted to conserve functioning, so we need to take some action, because we cannot leave the gate open, go everywhere and do whatever we want, because at the end of the day, we need to pay for it.
Okay.
And it's coming from our pocket.
We used to have a lockbox. Inside there was a key and there was a lock next to it. So I don't know why that was taken out, but that system was working. So we can just put a lockbox again.
And everybody was making an appointment, you know, to you know, like to take the time for the, I'm sorry, the management.
Well,
But it was working. It was working because we actually had the schedule, everything was publishing. I mean, for that, there's a method. We need to implement something.
Who can control? So if we have somebody from the board that can control it.
That's something, that's a good idea also, that we can actually, you know, like.
So my suggestion is, I mean, from the time I'm here, there was never a registration to play tennis. And it worked. But I think there are applications for scheduling tennis. I mean, if it's a free app, we can tell everybody, hey, if you guys want to play tennis, you schedule it yourself through the app. And there's a lot of them.
We have a situation that we have people giving classes and having a revenue out of the installation. So I think that there's a point that we need to actually get a control, and we need to understand exactly who's using the facility and what is the reason. Because if we are going to allow people to come here, I mean, we can bring guests. I think that wasn't really the case, because the phone only, like detect who actually entered into the gym or into the pool, but on the lock, it's only the cameras.
Sincerely, I've seen probably in these 2 years, 4 to 5 people playing tennis.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I didn't see
The usage
of the part of tennis. So I'm sorry to tell you this, but I don't think it's a topic to leave the door open. And I understand that somebody can damage. It's the same thing why we don't have recycling, because nobody will know how to put the glass in the glass and the plastic in the plastic. This is ridiculous. So I would keep it for now open instead of creating a big conferences.
Well, no, we can actually keep it open, but I mean, we need to actually understand that we need to implement.
Somebody needs to control the key. So somebody from the board would like to control the key. And the entries.
Well, we need to get into a consideration that all our amenities needs to be surveilled, needs to be supervised. Because this is
the board wants to take the responsibility to keep the key and give opening whenever it's.
No, you have a code, yes.
So if you have a code.
Whatever. I mean, the way it worked before,
Yeah.
there was a lockbox that only people that play tennis know the code. Okay? And so they open, they take out the key, they open, and then they put it back.
We have to give the code to everybody that requests.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
I don't know.
This is the cost of the lock in the.
Cost of a lock and a lockbox. I don't know how much a lockbox
And
costs.
then we bring a communication, everybody that wants to go to the park. It's not sound, and we give the number.
And this,
We don't prevent.
No, it was like the using of the social area. So if you have a party, so you actually go ahead and schedule, and then the primates, the management will actually, pass a communication to all the unit owners that in this time, the social area is gonna be used by some unit owners. And then that's exactly what we use.
Can we say we turn it?
Okay, we go.
exactly. Just keep it with
Okay.
you.
And then we have one student, we ask for the number of doors.
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple because.
Well, that's what it was.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
done. And
So for the maintenance, I think that the painting is ongoing, the spring is already clean, so everything in the pool is already, like up to today, it's all taken care of. Tree trimming today, the guy came here, it was refair, and I think we should consider this guy for the annual tree trimming, which by the way, we need to put it on the budget because this is.
It's not there, it's gonna be done within the cost.
Okay.
Not within the cost of maintenance.
Okay, the previous company, they, forget the name that. Day trimming, yes. They actually charge 3,500 for all the trimmings around. So I told the guy to come on Friday to give us an estimate he already, went through the whole site and he probably is gonna, work on us, an estimate whether if we can beat the price that we charged before and see, but these people are completely professional. They have the cherry picker, they know how to do things and they're really clean and I was impressed and very, 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 very good.
Just because some of my palms.
No, well, my house also, they actually called.
okay, great. Good
But
job.
they didn't make a mess.
No, no,
Because, okay, no, they actually blow at the end, pick everything, put the trash. So I was really pleased with the service. So I highly recommend these people.
Awesome.
And Miladies called me this afternoon. After I finished the tree trimming, she actually called me and she said that Diana, she wants to put a schedule with you on Monday if you can. It's the engineer NV5 because you were the only unit owner missing because we know that you have an emergency.
The technical roof can't come, it's probably Friday.
Well, next Friday, well, he actually is sending an email, I believe tonight, we're gonna have an email saying that the roofer is gonna come on Monday, and that's exactly what he gave me a schedule in the afternoon. And the electrical engineer is coming on Wednesday, so there's two schedules, so I probably will attend one. And once we see the overall schedule, it's going to, we can probably take turns. The structural engineer, they request the structural drawings. We don't have structural drawings since this building is really old, and perhaps we're gonna have it on the city. There's a procedure for that, and they told me, or either you guys are fetching those information through the city, through the microfilm, because this is from 1974,
Yeah.
or you can ask us to follow through. The application is $50, and the city usually takes about a week or two finding if there's any evidence in the microfilm, and then they print out whatever they have and they give it to you, and it takes about 2 weeks. So either we follow on the process and somebody is looking through those information, or NV5 can offer also to go after, but the structural engineer cannot come after they see the drawing. So that's the only hiccup on the recertification process. No, the only drawings that we all have in the community is the small section of the corner with the mansard and the beam on the top. That's the only thing that I have. And I've been asking everyone, we have only the master survey.
Because the one has a huge pile of old documents.
No, I actually asked him, she have a prototype for the overhang for the roof in front, but that doesn't apply to
Did
the
you
map.
check in the room?
Yeah, all of them. We only have the electrical plan, which, by the way, Johan, the electrical technician who actually did the panels, he gave me all the electronic information, so I forward today to me ladies. So the electrical engineer is gonna come on Friday. On Friday, and he comes, I told you that he's coming 2 days for 3 hours. He's gonna be in the morning and he's gonna be at night because he needs to check the illumination, the photometrics of the parking. I don't know exactly how they're gonna resolve the two buildings not having the electrical lighting, but they will figure it out.
Okay.
And besides that,
I emailed Tiffany back, so including the Leeward Point one, to just let me know so I can plan my week if I'm planning to be free on Friday, or the following Monday, or the following Friday, because I work on Thursday. So you guys let me know what works. You're
gonna be available on Monday, just in case.
I can be available on Wednesdays and Fridays, yeah.
Okay.
I can move my meeting around.
All right.
Yeah.
As soon as I get information from the ladies, I will probably contact you and tell you exactly.
Just let me know what time,
Yeah.
so I can move my meeting so they're not at that time.
I understood that he's gonna be on the roof,
Yes.
but he's gonna take the chance to measure all the damages on the sheetrock. So that's the update from my side. And
Any update on the floor camera?
yes, do you have the documentation? Do you have the contract? Because I know that you work with Mark Antonio, so
Contract?
the contract, do you have it?
Probably.
Okay, so do you see exactly the whole email thread? What get my attention is that the lady that now is taking care of the account, our account, it have a problem trying to get the whole information, because it's not only her, it's a team that is somewhere in US, and there is a permitting team, which I already contact in Orlando. So the permitting team already gave me the story, and I have all the information. You can see the whole email, how the information is laid out, but there is an information that is still missing that they are not even able to answer. And for me, it's something that
What is the information?
the information that is already requested on the email. I think that you have it already on your tray.
But can you tell us, I mean, what is the information? What else do we need?
Well, I don't have it right now in front of me, but the information was very clear. The permit is a temporary permit. The electrical technician needs the permit to be closed, and there's no information and no answer on that part. And the other part is the equipment, because I already understood that this equipment comes with the solar panel. And this is something that we need to actually see on the contract. And this is the part that she's not able to give it to me because she doesn't have the paper. So as soon as we get the contract from you or from Mark Antonio, we understand exactly how it's everything laid out. Because as far as I know, there's no tree intrusion there. The only palm trees that it was next to it, it was cut and it's completely exposed to the sky, because the tree is actually cutting from the other side and is halfway. So
So you're saying there could be solar, not electric?
Exactly, but the permit was actually submitted as a solar, and we have on site, we have electrical conduit. Like it's set up for electrical conduit, so this is the part that we need to understand, because for the electrical to go ahead and do the connection, he needs to understand that the permit is already closed from the provider side. And we need to understand, and before the activation, that everything is on play. So if you can, Alan, look on the document, so I can appreciate, because we need to understand exactly.
There was a
that.
person from them that came, saw the place and determined that the solar panels will not work. And this is why we opted for the electricity.
Yeah, but everything is submitted as a solar panel. So there's a contradiction here that nobody is being able to answer at this point. So my point here, because Alicia is the first point of contact, she's still struggling because she doesn't have the information, she doesn't have the contract, and she doesn't know exactly how to relate to that information, because
She's from the company.
she is the accountant. That's very serious, and that's very, weird that you don't have. That's why I say, Alan, if you have the contract, please provide it, because I will recreate that and say, this is the contract, this is what we have, this is what we pay. I did it already, so that's exactly what 3 weeks already been passed by, and nobody is giving my answer.
Scratch the campus, way too much trouble. Just kidding. I'd like to make a motion to stop this meeting.
Yes.
Second over here, any?
I third. Tiffany, if you're still there, thank you for staying with us. She's not.
Diana, thank you so much for being here.